From Tiger Stadium in Hahnville, Louisiana, it is high school football here on Crescent City Sports. As tonight, we've got a good one in District 7 5A as the Hahnville Tigers play host to the Central Lafourche. Hi again, everybody. Lenny Van Gilder, along with Wade Kaiser. Good to be with you here on a beautiful Friday night for football. Thought we might see some showers, but it's turned out all right. Nice fall evening. And, Wade, this is fun football here. We're in Week 7. We got 6-0 against 5-1. And I think you could even make the argument that this District 7 5A race, this might be right alongside perhaps the Catholic League is the best district, if not in the metro area, maybe in the state of Louisiana with what we're seeing thus far.
Well, I mean, you look at the one-loss records of everybody sitting right up at the top and in the middle, and everybody has a shot at winning it here because, I mean, let's just look at it and let's say it like it is. You look at Destrehan down there at 1-1. I mean, that has put the perennial powerhouse of this district right in the middle of it, down in the middle of it, and that has kicked a bunch of teams that are great football teams right up to the top, and they still haven't met each other yet. For example, Destrehan, Hahnville, or Destrehan and Central Lafourche. So, I mean, there's going to be some great games down the line the next couple of weeks, and it's going to be a great one here tonight in Hahnville. Yeah,
we always talk about 9-5A being a lot like the SEC West, and this may turn out to be that way because what you've got is maybe at the end of the day, you start looking at power ratings as coaches start doing this time of year. Really, they start doing it before now, but now is when it matters when you got 3 weeks left in the season after tonight. But you're looking at a situation where who knows how many teams could end up with first-round home games. Hahnville is sitting at number 2 in the power ratings of 5A right now. Central Lafourche is tied for 16th.
Right.
Tied for 16th.
Right.
If you follow the brackets, you know this. There's 32 teams in the bracket. The top 16 get to be at home in the first round.
Right.
So they are right on the edge of a first-round home game, and obviously that would be enormous if they could host a first-round home game. Be a great feather in their cap, but a long way to go in that regard. Let's talk about this matchup tonight. I think you've got to start with the running games for both teams. Hahnville will spread it around a little bit. Primarily Darrell Evans. We'll also see some Trey LeBranch carrying the football. But then you talk about Central Lafourche, and you start with Deion Jenkins. And this guy has got numbers that look like they ought to be for 12 games, not for 6.
Well, I was down on the field just prior to the game, and I was standing next to Deion Jenkins, and he is a fine-looking specimen of a running back. Not tall, but he is thick, and he looks extremely powerful, especially in his hips and his thighs, which has averaged out to 220 yards averaging per game coming in tonight.
And he's got 25 touchdowns. That's in 6 games. So he's got a nose for the end zone. 24 on the ground. He also catches a little bit. He's got 6 catches for 109 yards and another score. So he's got over 1,400 yards from scrimmage this year. That's a pretty salty Hahnville defense, maybe the best defense that Central Lafourche has seen this year, and we'll see how that plays out. But in terms of Hahnville, you're talking about Darrell Evans, who's rushed for 685 yards and 13 touchdowns. He's got another 3 touchdowns catching the football and 220 yards. And then LeBranch has got 385 yards so between rushing and receiving. So those are 2 guys that probably have close to the same amount of yards between them as what Jenkins has done. They're just doing it with 2 players.
Right, it's just a different way of doing it. They're making sure they're spreading the raw ball around with running back by committee between Evans and LeBranch. And tonight you're going to see them both get their share of touches out there against a nice size offensive line from Hahnville.
Opening prayer will be followed by our national anthem here from Hahnville.
Especially the coaches, officials, parents, and players. Keep us under the protection of your Son, Jesus Christ, and help us be aware of His presence with us in the game. In Jesus' name I pray.
Ladies and gentlemen, we ask you to remain standing. And gentlemen, please remove your hats for the playing of our national anthem. The national anthem will be performed by the Hahnville High School Fighting Tiger Marching Band.
national anthem by the Hahnville Tiger Marching Band. We get a pregame show on the field from Hahnville. It's always a great atmosphere when you come down to the River Parishes for football. There's no doubt about it. They're here early. They're here in numbers.
Right.
And you're going to see great players on the field when you get here and the pregame festivities stop and the game actually begins.
And I got here about just a little before 5 today. They already had people in the stands here at Hahnville eating jambalaya. They're here
That's about
early.
right.
They're here early. They're here to eat. They're here to watch great football and a beautiful night, fall night, which is great football weather.
Yeah, by the way, Hahnville Destrehan, it's been like the district opener for many years. New
Right.
round of district scheduling this year. They moved it to week 10,
Right.
and I like that. Think about the fact if the district championship is on the line in week 10 when those two get together, wherever the game is played, whether it's here or this year it's in Destrehan, it's going to be rocking. There's
Right.
no doubt about it.
There's no doubt about it. And but as we pointed out earlier, if you look at the way things have panned out all the way through week 6 right now, it is extremely competitive from top to bottom. HLB right there is 0-3 in the district. They're struggling, but you look at Terrebonne has a real good football team. Thibodaux has a good football team. We're seeing a great football team tonight out of Central Lafourche. East St. John has Destrehan tonight over at Destrehan for their homecoming, and it's very competitive from top to bottom with this District 7-5A.
Hahnville won the toss. They're going to take the football, so that's how we're going to begin things here this evening on a 70-degree night. I know there was some rain in the forecast earlier. Hopefully a lot of that stuff took off to the east and stayed away from us, and it's a good sign. And we saw enough weather last week up in Covington.
Yeah, to wait out a long one there.
Yes, we did.
It was a long evening.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Chip and Matt are still disappointed about the lack of a post-game meal that night, but I think they finally found something. But their favorite place wasn't staying open for them. All right, so here we go. It will be Darrell Evans back in the center of the formation, deep for Hahnville, as Gage Detillier, who handles the kickoffs and also is the punter for this team, will kick it away. Show meets leather, and away we go. It's a short kick, and it is out of bounds, about the 35-yard line. I think they were trying for something here. Maybe a little kick over the front line and maybe see if their end guy could run it down. And it goes out of bounds at the 34. It doesn't really.
Right. I think
right. You end up with the ball at the 35-yard line. It's no big disadvantage there unless they want him to kick it again.
Well, they've got the option to have it at the 35, or they can kick it again. They were trying to sky kick right there, and it just didn't come off his foot right, and it kind of caromed out of bounds right there. And looks like Hahnville's going to go ahead and elect to take the ball at the 35. Good starting position for a high-powered offense that has been scoring 33 points, 33.6 points coming in so far this year.
Drew Knockham, the senior quarterback, a 56% passer, 679 yards on the year. Take a shot down the field on first down. It just missed his receiver. That was Troy Kendrick.
First play call right there, trying to get the ball out fast on a post route. Catch, throw real quick. It's just a little bit overthrown right there. Great coverage out there by the secondary of the Trojans. Over there at corner, I think that's Bro Gerard at one corner, lining up on the wide receiver from Hahnville, Jerry Spencer.
Trips to the top of your screen. They'll throw it on second down and 10. It's caught. Now coming back this way, making a man miss, still down the sidelines, finally tripped up. And that was Kendrick once again. Gain of about 19 on the play as they cross into Central Lafourche territory.
A lot of team speed. Did you see the team speed? He catches the ball and he gets vertical out there on that nice little screen pass, bubble screen out there, wide receiver screen, however you want to term it. Great speed by the Hahnville offense to get out into open space and pick up huge yardage. One thing tonight for the Central Lafourche Trojans, they're missing a extremely outstanding defensive end in Trevor Alamon. He's going to be replaced by number 90, Sylvester Coleman.
Knockhand's going to put it down and go with it. Didn't have anything open. I'm seeing more and more of this coming out of the spread. You know, if teams are going to defend you man-to-man, then there's a gain of 5 on the play. But if they're going to try to defend man-to-man, depending on how their safeties are playing and stuff, those guys all clear out of there, then you could take off and run if you're the quarterback and you generally got lanes. Joe Burrow's making a living out of that. When they cover those guys on him, he can put it down and go. 2nd and 5, the ball at the 41. Just underway here from Hahnville. First chance to see Darrell Evans this evening, and he's got room to run. 25, 20, 15, makes another man miss. 10, 5, still on his feet. It's going to take 4 Central Lafourche guys to bring him down, and they're not going to bring him down. He's into the end zone, touchdown. 41 yards.
Outstanding inside zone play by Evans. He hits it right up the center of that Trojan defense. You can look at it on the replay. You see him pop out right there. He's out into the open, but watch the end of the run. Watch how he is going to carry a bunch of white jerseys into the end zone right here. I'll let the picture do the talking for you. Little help from the rest of the purple jerseys, helping to push him in as he's carrying 2 or 3 white jerseys for the first score of the evening.
Point after is good. And with 10-11, or check that, 10-15 remaining in the first quarter. 10-15 left in the quarter. Your score is Hahnville 7 and Central Lafourche nothing. Well, Hahnville offense made that look pretty easy right there, Wade. 4 plays, 65 yards after the kickoff that went out of bounds. Well,
the scoring play right there was all set up by the offensive line of Hahnville. They do a great job blocking the inside zone, and they had a huge hole that you and I could have ran through there on the inside zone. He runs it right up the pipe, bounces it to the outside. But what's really impressive is his strength carrying in a couple of Central Lafourche Trojans right down there at the goal line from about the 2-yard line in. A lot of explosion on that particular play by Evans right there. Hit it fast, hit it hard, and it took off into the secondary.
Get our first look tonight at Deion Jenkins, who gets a chance to return that kickoff and brings it out to about the 37-yard line.
Well, Deion Jenkins is something special. You know, we talking to Keith Menard prior to the game. He's coached him, has started ever since he was a freshman, and now here he is in his senior year. And every year he has just gotten a little bit better with his vision. You know, Keith Menard talked about how at first he was just trying to run over everybody, and now he's at the point where he's making that one cut in the hole, getting vertical, and then being able to put another cut on somebody downfield and break away into the open field, which is showing the maturity of this running back.
Jenkins will be the setback. Ashton Duncan will be the quarterback. 6'2", 175-pound seniors, completed 61% of his passes for 820 yards and 12 touchdowns. Big surprise, Jenkins gets it on first down. He'll get about 3.
You saw a little bit of it right there. He made one cut right there to pick up 3 yards. Shoulder pads were north and south. Nice job by the offensive line to pick up 3 right there and give him some crease to pick up some yardage.
They'll play with 3 wide receivers and a tight end. We'll see False, Knockhand, and DeLon at the wideouts. Big Logan Wilcox, number 5, kind of lines up as more of an H-back, but he's listed as a tight end.
It all depends on their personnel packages on what they want to be able to do. Right there in our 11 personnel,
Yep.
1 running back, 1 tight end, and he's on the line of scrimmage.
Do a little misdirection here. Try to go left with Jenkins, and not much doing, maybe about a yard.
They run counter tray right there. Most teams run counter tray by pulling the guard and tackle. Right there, Central Lafourche pulled the guard and the big tight end, Logan Wilcox. It's a nice scheme. The reason why it's a nice scheme, it's a little bit easier for the tackle who's not pulling to block back on the defensive end, so the defensive end cannot trail the puller.
Line to gets the 47-yard line, so 3rd down and 6. First big play of the game for this Central Lafourche offense to try to keep the chains moving. Play action. Pass is dropped. It was intended for Jansen False, the leading receiver. on this Central Lafourche team.
Nice ball, hits him right in the hands. He runs a stick route, breaks his route right off the sticks. Ball was delivered on time, hits him in the hands. You got to catch the football. Brings up a punting situation for the Trojans.
Twin safeties back for Hahnville at about the 34-yard line. Nick Salter-Formaggio didn't like something there. He wants a timeout.
We have a timeout on the field called by Hahnville. Tigers' first timeout, first half.
Gives us a chance to remind you, Wade, that Crescent City Sports Prep Football is brought to you by Gills Bar. For more than half a century, offering services, solutions, and support for businesses and associations looking for happier constituents and healthier bottom lines. And headquartered on the North Shore. To learn more on how Gills Bar can help your business, visit gillsbar.com.
I don't know what the timeout was about, but I will say this. They've gone to a single safety back now, so they might be suspecting some sort of fake punt or something. So Hahnville looks like they've gone to a safe return here. Maybe thinking something here at midfield was up by the Trojans. So bring another person down into the box to play defense in case there should happen to be a fake. Put one safety deep.
Punt is away. Taken at the 32. Now coming back this way and room to run. 40 midfield. 40, 30, 20. Cuts it back 10. Brought down from behind at the 4-yard line. Elijah Hamilton, the defensive back, the junior. He's going to be an outstanding player. But
well,
he's already an outstanding player, but flags down on the opposite side of the field, Wade, at the 44-yard line, and that's got to frustrate you. Well, 30 yards away from the play, there's a penalty.
Well, it depending on all. It's usually a block in the back, which is usually an indication where he reversed his field on that particular side, and you're going to catch somebody turning and pursuing, and you're going to get that block in the back call sometimes because it's just hard to keep your hands in the front of their chest as your back is changing directions and reversing his field, if you can picture that. So what happens is, as you as a defender, you're going to turn, and that's all of a sudden where the official will catch you with your hands in the wrong spot in the back of the defender or on the side of the defender, and that's what's going to draw that foul usually, that penalty flag.
So effectively it's more than a 50-yard penalty because they start at the 42-yard line. First down pass incomplete. It was intended for Chance Schrag, the senior wide receiver on this side.
Tell you what, this we're at a Hahnville. Defensive end and their special teams.
Look at their team speed. I am incredibly impressed with how fast these guys are. They can all run. Their skill, as well as their offensive linemen getting out in front of screens, as well as their defensive linemen in pursuit on defense. Great team speed.
Different look here on first down, and it's well defended, and the ball may have come loose. Or are they going to blow this dead? Let's see.
I think the ball did come loose, and he recovered his own fumble. Here's a replay. You can take a look at it. Look at the big hit in the backfield coming off of the edge right here. Whack. Can't actually get a number on who that was, but it looked like the right defensive end, number 87, Kobe Gidros, 6'3", 235-pound senior, coming down from his defensive end position on the left-hand side of Hahnville's offensive right.
Now on 3rd and 10. Knockham will sprint out, fire, caught, and right at the sticks. Let's see where they mark it. That was Corey Lorio. They'll give him the first down. Move the chains, put the ball at the 47-yard line. They'll put it at the 48-yard line.
How about the athleticism of Knockham? He's getting chased out of the backfield. He's sprinting out to his left, and then he does a little jump shot for a pass, I guess is that what you would call it, and puts it on the money to Lorio for a big pickup.
First down, give it away. Evans down the sideline, dragged out of bounds, but not before he gets a first down.
Central Lafourche brings double safety blitz right there. They sell out. Nobody is in the secondary. They're in man coverage out on the edges. Hahnville runs counter inside, pops it. When you're just brought your whole secondary, there's nobody back there to defend, Lenny, and they're running free in the secondary.
Gain of 14 to the 34s. Hahnville on the move. Going to make this a two-score game. Toss sweep to LaBranche. Going far side, breaks a tackle inside the 20. 10-5 touchdown.
Toss sweep. LaBranche catches the ball on the toss sweep, gets out on the edge. Great blocking on the edge by the Tigers. He makes one Central Lafourche Trojan miss in the backfield, and then he outruns everybody else. You can see him outrun everybody else in a white jersey down the boundary. Look at the team speed right here of LaBranche. Look at his speed. Great execution right there. Great speed by LaBranche, bouncing it to the outside and outrunning everybody from Central Lafourche.
Point after is good, and with 6:48 remaining in the first quarter, your new score is Hahnville 14 and Central Lafourche nothing. Tell you the Crescent City Sports Prep Football brought to you by Riverlands Insurance throughout the river parishes, meeting all your insurance needs, and a proud recipient of the Top Insurance Workplace Award for 2019 from Insurance Business America. Call Riverlands at 1-800-336-4579. Go to RIVINS.com. Working on their new headquarters in St. Rose, about ready to fully open up there. Been a part of this community for a long time. Our thanks to Nolan Luke and everybody at Riverlands Insurance for their support of high school sports year-round here at CrescentCitySports.com. This kick will be fielded at about the 17-yard line, and not much running room. The Central Lafourche will start this drive at the about the 27-yard line. Yeah, they put it down at the 27.
Well, I mean, Hahnville is selling out defensively. They're putting 8, sometimes 9 people in the box to stop the Central Lafourche running game. They're giving you a little bit of man coverage with it. They're giving you a little bit of zone. They're mixing it up. But Central Lafourche has got to answer here. They've got to at least get a first down to try to stem this tide a little bit.
Nice run on first down. It's still churning. It's Deion Jenkins who will get about 8. That's what you need. You need to.
Right.
I mean, 3 is great to stay on schedule, but you can
take a look at there you go. The defensive end was up the field right there for Hahnville, so that leaves a huge gaping hole inside for Jenkins to run through. What a lot of people, Lenny, don't think about first down as being the most important down out of the 4. Okay? Your third down conversion rate is only as good as how well you do on first down.
Yeah, if you're playing
correct
3rd and 9 as opposed to 3rd and 1
Absolutely.
or 3rd and 2. 2nd and 2. Pass is caught. Nice job by the quarterback, Duncan, to escape the pressure. May not have gotten the first down. Let's see, because False had to come back to the football when Duncan was in trouble. It looks like they're going to mark it a yard short. It's going to be a gain of 1, 3rd down and 1 coming up.
You can see on the replay there, Hahnville brought number 5, Brandon Cormadell, off the edge from a blitzing position from his strong safety spot. And put the applied the pressure on Duncan, and Duncan did a nice job evading it, just getting the ball out there. But going back to that first down, I was always concerned about what we were doing on first down. I was less concerned about what we were doing on 3rd down.
Movement up front there. They had the jet motion coming across, and the defensive end moved too soon for Hahnville. I think that may have been Adonis Freelou, who's Always looking to get in the backfield, Wade. 6'2", 285-pound senior. He's got 35 tackles and 14 sacks on the season. So he does a pretty good job when he gets in the backfield of getting the job done. He's a commitment to the University of Houston.
Well, he's very athletic, number one. Number two, he's hard to block off the edge. Really puts pressure on that left tackle. And he's got a whole array of moves that he can put on that left tackle using his speed.
Number 41, give it away to Jenkins on first down, and he will get about 3. So
Jenkins runs the little inside zone right there. They love the inside zone game, all these spread offenses today. It allows you to get a helmet on a helmet. It allows creases for your running back to find from 6 to 7 yards deep in the backfield, and allows him to cut back against the grain and gives him many running options. You're seeing it all the way up from the high school game up to the pro game. You're seeing those inside zone schemes with the large offensive linemen that everybody seems to be breeding today.
From the 44, Jenkins stripped up in the backfield and yet manages to maintain his balance and pick up another 3 yards.
Tell you what, he has nice balance. He was kind of hit at the line of scrimmage and bounced off one tackler and leaned forward, and I like how he's falling forward all the time. You don't see him falling backwards. That's the mark and the sign of a solid running back, always falling forward to pick up an extra yard.
Actually give him 4 to the 48, where it'll be 3rd down and a long 3.
Another one of those big 3rd down plays for Central Lafourche to try to convert here.
Pass on 3rd down is caught. Nice job of staying on the feet. The ball came out. Let's see. It looks like they're going to blow it dead.
Well, he was down, and it looks like it squirted out. The question was, and from up here, it looks like, did he have control of the ball after he caught it? He looked like he was juggling it a little bit. Let's see if we can see it on our replay. Oh, no, he's got it. And then he drops the ball when he hits the ground right there. It kind of squirts out off of his chest. I think it was a catch, just from what I saw there. As he goes down, he ends up having the ball just kind of squirt off his pads.
So 1st and 10 at the 37, couple of first downs. Trojans on the move here. Flag as they took a shot, headed towards Jansen False, their leading receiver.
I think they got Robert Jackson out there for a little tug, a little hold. So that's going to be tacked on from the previous spot right there. In high school now, no longer is that an automatic first down. It'll be a first down only if the yardage gains the line to gain.
And on 1st and 10, it will.
I would love to see the NFL go to that rule, as well as college. Just my personal opinion. No. There's a nice little tug out there by Robert Jackson. I think he was beat on the post route. They were taking a shot down the field, so when he got beat, he reached out and grabbed his jersey just to kind of slow him down a little bit, and he got caught.
Better than 15, and that's 15 better than whatever play. Jenkins first down get 6, maybe 7. Let's wait for the spot. It'll be 2nd down and very manageable.
Nice pickup on first down again. This 2nd down and very manageable, very kind of short right here, allows a lot of things an offense can do. You can take a shot on this 2nd down. You can run the ball again. You can run some sort of screen right here. This opens up your whole offensive playbook for Keith Menard to be able to choose what to do. Keith Menard has been around. Was a great quarterback at Nicholls State University. Nicholls State at the time, Nicholls University now. And it is kind of his prowess on how to do things offensively.
On 2nd down and about 4, Jenkins once again. It's going to be 3rd down and short.
Brought down by Ryan Baldwin.
This offensive line at Central Lafourche up front has decent size for the 5 guys that play from tackle to tackle. Plajon, Sanak, Adams, Modson, and Hebert. And then they hit the huge tight end Wilcox, so they will pound the ball inside the tackles and try to knock you off the ball. You look at the guys in purple, they got 9 guys up in the box playing man coverage everywhere else across the field. So they're committed to stop Jenkins here on 3rd down.
See a fullback lined up there. They're going to throw the ball on 3rd and 1. They got man coverage out there, and it is caught for the touchdown.
I love the call. They get the matchup out there, one-on-one on the edge. I told you they had 9, 10 guys almost lined up in the box to stop Jenkins on this 3rd and short. They dial up the fade route out there on the edge for the big 6-point touchdown.
So Central Lafourche needed that in a big way, a big answer. 8-play, 73-yard drive, took a little over 4.5 minutes.
Here's your swinging gate.
And they're going to fake it. Throw to the snapper, who can catch the ball if he's got a legal number, and that is a 2-point conversion. And that is one thing that Keith Menard likes to do, Wade. He will go, there are times he will go for 2 quite a bit to try to gain an advantage there. If he thinks he's got one, he found one in that spot and went for it and converted.
Well, they didn't. Hahnville didn't treat the center as an eligible receiver. The whitest man on the line of scrimmage was the center. The flanker was off the line of scrimmage. They had 7 on the line of scrimmage. The center had an eligible number. That was Jansen Fultz, number 18, 6'1", 175-pound wide receiver. As the snapper was lined up, eligible. He sneaks into the back of the end zone, catches the pass for the 2-point conversion. It's a matter of numbers and who are you covering that are considered eligible receivers. Hahnville forgot to cover the center.
Think they will from here on out?
Oh, they better. Woody, that should have been covered since August. Okay, I can hear Nick Saltaformaggio at halftime right now. He's going to be going berserk over that.
Here's your pooch kick again. Catch is made. Wasn't a fair catch. Brought down right at about the 40-yard line. Is peeling off to make that play off the front line. That was Jacoby Celestine, a defensive lineman.
That's what they were trying to do to start the game right there, and it just didn't quite work out.
The first one went too far, and this was... So Hahnville takes over at the 40-yard line. In trouble in the backfield and thrown down for a loss was Nakhan. That's Damari Young, who leads this team. That's his 4th sack of the year.
Damari Young just completely destroyed the offensive guard from Hahnville. Just bull rushed them, stepped around them, and ended up getting the pressure and applying the pressure and getting the sack. But what was different right there is if you looked at Central Lafourche's secondary, they actually went to a too-high zone that time. They got out of man coverage. There was really nowhere for those receivers to run. They were all covered up, so that was as much of a coverage sack as it was a sack up front by technique.
Fake the jet sweep, getting some pressure up front once again, and quarterback Nakhan just throws it in the ground.
Throws it at the feet. The screen pass was covered. They were trying to set up a screen to his right. The receiver was covered, so quarterbacks are taught you throw it at their feet. Let's don't try to force it in there and give up something and get it picked for a pick 6 right there. Good decision by Nakhan.
3rd down 17, the ball back at the 33-yard line. Line to make is right at the midfield stripe. Nakhan steps up, put it down, he will go. 40, 45. He'll come up short of the first down by about 5 yards.
Everything's covered up. Central Lafourche still staying in a too-high secondary this series. Every receiver went vertical, 4 verts right there. Everything was covered up. Nakhan had nowhere to go, scrambles out there, takes off, and it's a nice pickup. It just comes up shy by about 6 yards. Knockhand shows a little speed getting out of there, too, and a little awareness back there in the pocket.
This punt will be down about the 23-yard line, and that's where Central Lafourche will take over with 32 seconds remaining here in the first quarter.
Central just applied a lot of pressure right there on that punt. And Hahnville uses a shield punt, and you're watching it now in high school, college. You don't see it in the pros. You're seeing this shield punt game where they're basically up front not blocking anybody, but the shield now has to block somebody, right? Well, Hahnfield's shield right there just didn't block anybody. That's where the pressure came. That's the whole premise and the idea of the scheme. You got to have the three big guys that are in the shield. They got to block somebody, and that punt was almost blocked. This is something to watch later on in this game to see if Central Lafourche can develop that, use that, and try to go after a punt.
On first down, pass near side, caught by False.
First time we've seen on first down a pass tonight by Central Lafourche.
Yeah, everything up until now has been handed off to Jenkins.
Real fast, get the ball out in the quick passing game on a hitch out there to False from Duncan to False.
So second down 6. Ball at the 27. Central Lafourche comes in averaging 260 yards a game on the ground, 137 through the air. And that'll do it for the first quarter of play. 12 minutes in the books. It's been a very entertaining first 12 minutes. Hahnville went right down the field first 2 times they had it. Put up 14. Central Lafourche answered. Didn't only answer, but they came up with a 2-point conversion. So through 1 quarter of play, your score, Hahnville 14, Central Lafourche 8. Back with more after this. You're watching high school football from Crescent City Sports. We go with quarter number 2 from the 27-yard line. Second down 6. Jenkins. That was 8 yards right there, but he showed you an awful lot between the cut in the backfield to spinning to make a man miss in the middle of that play. Give him 9, actually. That was an impressive run right there, Wade.
There was a compliment to the inside zone. That was an outside zone, or what they call a stretch zone. He had pressure right in his face all of a sudden coming off the edge. He puts his foot in the ground, his left foot in the ground, and makes a great cut back against the grain, and everything was washed away. Everything was gone to pick up those 8 yards for that first down.
Over the middle, caught by the tight end. Logan Wilcox. That'll be another Central Lafourche first down.
Wide pop. That's what they call wide pop right there. Get an outside release by the tight end into the seam, off of the play action pass right there by Duncan. What does he do? Puts it right into number 5's hands for a huge first down pickup again. Now they're in the rhythm. And you know what you see him throw the ball on first down. You can't run the ball every down. You've got to mix things up. You've got to have a little, difference in what you're trying to do and how you're trying to attack things to get the guys in the purple jerseys out of the box a little bit and have to defend the field.
Now Jenkins on first down, falls forward, gets 4. Right at the midfield stripe.
You see how he's always falling forward? I haven't seen him knock backwards yet. Everything when he gets hit is always forward, 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 whether it's forward lean for 1 yard or forward lean for 1 yard after an 8-yard pickup. You know, he's 5'8", 190 pounds. He's extremely powerful. He's got a low center of gravity, meaning that he gets his pad level down. It's hard to get underneath this pad level to play at the level he's at, which makes him that much more of a powerful running back.
9 carries for 41 yards thus far. And Duncan in trouble is going to be brought down in the backfield. First sack of the night for Hahnville. And guess who? Adonis Freelou, 15th sack of the year for the big 6'2", 285-pound senior.
He was there quick. He got off the ball. I don't know what Central Lafourche is doing on their snap count, but this guy is timing it up. Adonis Freelou is timing it up. He's getting off the ball real quick, and they're having a hard time on the edge with him, keeping him in check. And if this is the way it's going to be, they're not going to be able, speaking of Central Lafourche, be able to hold on to the ball very long in their passing game. They're going to have to catch the ball and get it out fast, because otherwise Freelou's going to be there because he's just timing that snap up.
Timeout Central Lafourche, so they want to talk about this third down play coming up. That gives us a chance to remind you, that Crescent City Sports Prep Football, presented by Ye Olde College Inn and Rockin' Bowl. College Inn, a true New Orleans farm-to-table restaurant, open Tuesday through Saturday for dinner, and the home of the New Orleans Prep Sports Hall of Fame. I'm sure you can go walk right over when you're done tonight, catch some live music over at Rockin' Bowl.
Absolutely.
Come see us at Rockin' Bowl on Tuesdays, Greater New Orleans Quarterback Club, every Tuesday at noon. Always a great set of speakers.
I'd love to. I'm right in the middle of class.
Well, to borrow a line from Back to School, well, call me when you have no class. Yeah, so.
Right,
Yes.
Call me when you have no class. There you go.
All right, 3rd and 13 as we resume after the timeout. Ball at the Central Lafourche 43-yard line. I'll bring DeLon in motion to this side. You got twin receivers plus the tight end to the bottom of your screen. Little screen pass set up to Jenkins. See what he can do to make people miss. Not enough. Well defended that time by Hahnville. It's a gain of 5.
Hahnville got out of their man coverage. They were trying to move somebody with the motion across the formation. Nobody moves. Hahnville sat in cover 4 right there. They dumped the screen out there, which Central Lafourche really didn't have much room because Hahnville just converged on it extremely quick.
Watch here. Now, it looks like they're playing punt safe again. I was going to say, watch number 9, Robert Jackson. He's got 3 blocked punts on the season. The guy you got to watch on the edge here. But in safe, I don't think, as they walk him up to the line of scrimmage, you're not going to see anything like that here. Punt is away. And that will hit it about the 20, going to check up like one of Wade's 9 irons and be down at the 21-yard line. So Hahnville takes over at the 8:24 mark.
It checks up. It just doesn't check up on the right fairway.
Oh.
It's going to be interesting to see how Hahnville answers here in this drive.
2 quick scores on their first 2 drives, 4 plays and 5 plays, but then they went 3 and out last time. Give it away on first down, and that was Evans on the carry. Yeah, that's a gain of 7.
They run the cross motion with to fake the jet sweep as window dressing to try to get the linebackers kind of sliding with that motion, and they run the inside zone back against it. So actually with that, you have a couple of plays built in off of it. You can have the jet sweep. You can have the inside zone, which is what we've just seen, and you see a lot of teams running bootleg off of that now too.
Running again, and that will be enough for the first down. Evans once again on the carry.
Hahnville is check with me offense from the sideline, getting everything signaled in out from the, not actually huddling up. You look at the offensive line of Hahnville. Look at the middle of that offensive line. The center, the two guards are huge, playing physical against that Central Lafourche defensive front.
Opening up a hole as Evans bounces it outside. He'll get about 6 on first down.
Central Lafourche trying to match size on size. They've gotten into their 5-man front with their bigger defensive line right here. And you can see Evans right here bounces it to the outside because there's just nothing inside for him. So a sign of a good running back is to keep moving his feet, look for the least pressure, I guess you would say. And what does he do? He bounces it out to his left and picks up nice running room.
Central Lafourche with some size there at defensive tackle. You got Price at 270, Young at 270, 19 and 98 right there in the middle of that defensive front. And continuing to churn, Evans should be right at the first down marker. I would expect they would move the chains, and indeed, that the linesman will signal first down. So we've seen 4 straight carries from Evans here on this drive, and he's picked up 21 yards. We saw the first carry of the game, that very impressive 41-yard touchdown run where got a little help from his line, but carried some defenders with him into the end zone.
Well, this series, it looks like Hahnville is trying to establish that physical dominance that they had in the very first series of the game.
Evans once again, room to run, still on his feet, 30, 25, 20, still on his feet, finally brought down from behind at the 15-yard line, a gain of 40 on the play, and he's over 100 yards for the night.
Watch how impressive he is when he gets into the secondary. Nice little move right there, 2 tackles, 3 tackles broken. Look at this move right here, keeps his balance. Very nice right there as he's running through the secondary of the Trojans.
116 yards on 7 carries so far for Evans. Now they'll give him a blow, and we'll see LaBranch at running back, and he'll get 3 on first down. So after being a little more air-oriented early on, we've seen Coach Salt resort to the ground game on this drive and really try to establish their will a little bit.
And that's the name of their game coming in so far this year. They love to pound the ground, I guess you would say, with those huge offensive linemen up front. Like I said, the center and the 2 guards.
Keep it on the ground once again, and it's again LaBranch, and he will get a couple. It's going to be 3rd down and 6. So what do you do here? I think where you are in the field, Wade, I think you got to think like this is 4-down territory. Absolutely. Right here. Although, granted, if you can kick a field goal, it does make it a 2-score game at this point. It would make it a 9-point game, but it's probably early to be thinking about things from that perspective. 3rd and 6, I'm thinking everything's in the book here as opposed to at other points in the field.
Absolutely. Everything's in the book. You're going to dial up what you think is going to be the best thing against what you're seeing from their defensive front, and they run a reverse.
Inside reverse, and that is in for the touchdown. Troy Kendrick. Check that. That's Corey Lorio, 19, not 18. Those Vegas goal numbers are a little hard to read at times. But
I'm glad you're having trouble, too. I thought it was just my old age.
So 7 plays all on the ground, 77 yards. That took some time off the clock, too. 3 minutes and 59 seconds. The 12-yard touchdown run by Corey Lorio on that inside reverse. Kick on the way, and it is good. So with 4:25 remaining here in the first half, your new score, Hahnville 21 and Central Lafourche 8. Talk about what we saw on that play there, Wade, in terms of what they've shown us thus far, and how basically that was a little bit of a counter to what we saw.
Well, they're trying to. You'll see it again here on the replay. They're trying to run fake the toss one way, and they're bringing the slot back the other way. Everybody's blocking left, and they're bringing the receiver back against the grain right there on the inside reverse handoff. And I love the play. I love it. Got Central Lafourche flowing extremely fast. So what you do is you counter against it, and number one, it scored, but number two, it's going to slow down their pursuit a little bit the next time that you're on the field, which will help your direct running game inside zones and things of that nature.
I love the great by the offensive staff at Hahnville.
Kickoff will be taken in at about the 10-yard line. Looking to bounce it outside is Lorio, but it's well defended right there by the Hahnville coverage team. And that is...
Last series, Hahnville comes out in zone and plays nothing but zone. They opened up the game playing more of a loose man coverage. We're going to see how they decide to play again this series. And, that's going to have a lot to do with how Central Lafourche is going to attack them offensively.
I think that was Devontae Simmons perhaps on the tackle, 56. Might have been 96. Again, it's sometimes a challenge with those numbers. So Central Lafourche will begin this series at its 23-yard line. No surprise, it's in the hands of Deion Jenkins, and he will get 6 on first down.
A little bit different formation that time by the Trojans. They run a little bunch package off of their tight bunch package off of their left-hand side of their formation, which kind of brought the rest of the defense in. But you say, well, that's bringing more people into the box. Well, what it's doing is it's allowing you to get more people to block at the point of attack offensively.
So just 47 yards on 10 carries thus far for Jenkins. As he is driven back. First loss of the night for Jenkins.
First time I've seen him go backwards on anything right there.
There was great penetration up front that time by the Hahnville defensive line.
Deshaun Parker chases down the counter tray backside. You can see right there the penetration. He's the guy that makes the initial contact right there on Central Lafourche's left-hand side of their offensive formation. And then everybody else in a purple jersey catches up. And this is the first time I've seen Deion Jenkins knock backwards tonight.
Clock ticking under 3 minutes here in the first half. The bunch look to the bottom of your screen. Duncan, can he get around the corner, try to square his shoulders? Tried to throw that little push pass that you talked about earlier. But what a defensive play right there. I believe that was Commerdale that jumped up and knocked it down like he was trying to block a shot even. You know,
I think he was playing volleyball. Look at that little push. What? Right there. He's lucky that wasn't picked. Central Lafourche was lucky that wasn't tipped back to somebody, and they'd been standing in the end zone right now. Very athletic by Duncan, but what you didn't see from the Central Lafourche receivers right there was scramble drill. He got in trouble. You needed to see people in white jerseys coming back, breaking into open spaces, giving or breaking away from purple jerseys to be able to give Duncan a target to throw to.
Central Lafourche was late getting a man on the field, and it ends up costing them 5.
Sixth game of the season. You can't do that. If there's anything that pulled my hair out was people not getting on the field and having personnel issues when they were supposed to be there.
So on 4th and 14, the punt just getting away. Hahnville's going to end up with great field position out of this.
Devontae Simmons came right up the center and almost blocked that. Again, not much protection right there by that punting unit from Central Lafourche.
So Hahnville is going to start on the plus side of the 50 with 2:31 remaining. Put it at the 45-yard line.
Great field position for the Tigers right now. Can't ask for anything better with 2:31 left and I believe 2 timeouts.
Fake the little toss. Tried to hit the man down the seam right there. That was Chase Tregley, senior wide receiver, came in with 3 catches. He's caught 1 already tonight.
Play
And
action.
Just
Right.
great look, and he had no one behind him on that play. He was looking at a purple end zone.
Well, he beat the defender on a post route. It was play action in the backfield off of the jet sweep. Again, it's all part of that little jet sweep inside zone package. And the ball was very well placed by Nakhan. It's just right off the hands of Traigle. That would have been 6 points for the Tigers.
Second and 10. Get another look at LaBranch there, and he gets 2, so it'll be 3rd down and 8.
Great pursuit right there by the Trojans. They really ran well and pursued well right there. Look for some sort of counter or reverse coming back here real soon with all that really quick pursuit by the Trojans.
Movement up front, but no flag. They didn't jump across. They jumped a little, but did not go across the line of scrimmage.
Again, you've got to get into that neutral zone in order to get the flag called or the play stop.
So on 3rd and 8, and will we get a flag here? Coming in, the receivers are nothing. 4th down. I saw one of the back judges there walking in as if he was reaching in, about to throw a flag, and no call.
Well, he was asking for help from his fellow official also, which I agree with.
I like communication.
Yes, look, I'm telling you why. I can't stand an official, especially on a play that's bang like that, to make such a quick call and not have it right. I like when he slows down, re-sees what's taken place, asks for help from his fellow officials, and then he makes the call.
Central Lafourche calls timeout.
I think that was great officiating by that back judge.
So I believe that's 1 timeout remaining now for Central Lafourche, 2 for Hahnville.
That should be 2 for Hahnville and 1 left for Central Lafourche, if I'm not
They
mistaken.
haven't taken that. Now they take the timeout for Central Lafourche off the board.
Thank you to Blaine Kiosk for cooking last week's pregame meal. Tiger fans, we would like to thank Charles Hospital for providing alongside EMS services tonight.
Hahnville coach is still chewing the officials on not getting the call. I think the officials are talking about where they're going for dinner after the game. It's all these little intricacies going on out there all at the same time. It's really interesting when you watch the whole dynamic of the game unfold. It's really outstanding.
High snap, barely handled. Now they're going to throw the ball, incomplete. I don't know if that was designed or that was just an automatic play on a high snap, but
I think it was a high snap, number 1, and I believe it looked unexpected as the pass. The punter was trying to make something happen. Let's take a look at it again. So here comes the high snap over his head. He still tries to kick it. What does he do? He just ropes it out there for the tight end, it looked like, in the punting formation. And it was just a bad throw. So this leaves Central Lafourche in pretty decent field position with 1:30 left to go.
see what they can do with 90 seconds left in the half. Pass coming this way to False. Needs to get out of bounds. He didn't go out on his own. He got forward progress stopped, so they'll wind the clock. Continues ticking inside 1:15. It's a gain of 4 on the play.
Central doesn't seem to be too concerned about the clock right here. They're just kind of walking back to the line, looking over to get the call from the boundary, with a lot of time getting wasted.
Duncan now will put it down and go, and that's going to be a first down.
Everything's covered deep. That's a coverage Great coverage job right there by Hahnville, still sitting in his zone coverage right there. Duncan looks he looks downfield, nothing there. There's no white jerseys open. He decides to take off. He's got nice wheels, and he has this sense of presence to get out of bounds and stop the clock after he gets the first down.
So the ball now at the Hahnville 46-yard line with 51 seconds remaining. Duncan. Incomplete. That was a dangerous pass right there. That was intended for Wilcox. Well defended that time. That was Cyree Lewis, the senior, who leads this team with 4 interceptions.
If you're going to throw the out route, it's got to be thrown on time. Okay, you can't scramble and still have the receiver sitting there on the boundary waiting for the pass to come, because the corner or whoever is covering is going to be able to put that foot in the ground, retrace his steps, and drive the ball. That's what you saw right there. It's lucky he wasn't standing in the end zone or for Central Lafourche if the young man wasn't standing in the end zone from Hahnville with 6 points.
Now going far side, going to set up the screen. And nice running here by Falls, staying on his feet, down across the first down marker and out of bounds at the 32-yard line.
That was extremely athletic. They try to set up the screen. He breaks it back to the center of the field, and then I think he decides to, I got to get to the boundary. So he ends up getting out to the boundary. Watch this. Nice little move. Oh, I'm inside here. I'm going to get hit. I'm going to bounce off. Now I've got to start getting out there to that boundary. Nice speed, and he finally gets knocked out of bounds. Great athleticism by Fultz. I bet you he can cook, too.
From the 32. Nowhere to go, and smart move there by Duncan. Just throw it out of bounds over the head of his intended receiver. It's 2nd and 10. Live for another day. You got 25 seconds left.
They could take something right down the center of the field. Call timeout.
Yeah, you still got the one timeout remaining.
They could take it down the center of the field, pick up the first down, and if they do that, they still have their one timeout. Depending on where they are, they can possibly run the ball one time, use their timeout, and then start taking their shots as they need to, but not to mess up getting points from a field goal if they don't score a touchdown. So look for something down the center of the field here.
2nd and 10 at the 32. Going down the far sideline and underthrown and complete. Duncan, haven't really seen him try to show off the arm yet.
Both guys kind of tangled up down there by the pylon, the front pylon. No call by the official right there.
So you would figure in this spot this has got to be 4-down territory. So don't feel like you've got to get – it's great if you can get the first down here, but it's not mandatory.
Correct. They got to at least get half of it, and they've got the timeout they can use if they have to, if they don't get it.
Duncan, really nowhere to go, and he ends up dumping it off incomplete. It's a good thing it was incomplete, because if it would have been caught, you would either burn your last timeout or the half would have ended. So 12 seconds remaining. Now you can pretty much do anything here, of course, on 4th and 10.
Well, they don't have a field goal kicker that can kick this, so obviously they're going to have to end up chunking something at least to the boundary for the sticks right here.
Yeah, you need to get the first down because, again, you still have the timeout.
Correct.
And then you can run a play into the end zone at that point.
Correct.
Duncan back will take a shot deep, and this is going to be intercepted, and that's Robert Jackson. He's going to take it out and try to bring it back this way. Finally, he's going to run out of bounds at the 22-yard line as the half ends. And a late flag comes in. Let's see what this is about. Well behind the play.
Could possibly be some sort of dead ball foul right here on Central Lafourche.
talk about it. It is a dead ball. Personal foul against Central Lafourche. So that, I presume, will be enforced at the start of the third quarter, which means Central Lafourche is going to get the ball to start the third quarter. So that means Hahnville is going to kick off from the 45-yard line.
Exactly. I didn't get the or quite understand the sequence of the routes right there on that very last play. I didn't see any rhyme or reason with what was being done out there by the wideout. They were trying to get the one-on-one. I don't know if they were trying to throw it up and get it into the end zone and create some sort of jump ball situation, or because the ball was way inside, not a very good throw, or were they trying to break the route off at the sticks, and which I thought they would have probably done that and still try to take a shot closer on the next play. But any way you look at it, it's been an entertaining first half.
It has indeed, as we have reached the intermission with your score, Hahnville 21 and Central Lafourche 8. We're going to take a chance and listen to a little bit of our bands coming up here at halftime, catch you up on some stats, catch you up on some scores, and everything else going on in the world of Louisiana high school football. So stay with us here at CrescentCitySports.com. We'll be back with more right after this.
Individual district champions in 2 events, while Rex Como and Ray Trojans were individual district champions in 1 event. Our volleyball team claimed the district title last season with an undefeated district record. Our wrestling team claimed their 11th consecutive district title last season. Dave Boudreaux, Logan Bremer, Ethan Dixon, Shannon Summers, and our district champions in their weight class. Our girls basketball team claimed the district title last season. In the spring, our athletes shine as well. Our boys outdoor track and field team claimed the district championship for the 3rd year in a row. Following returning team members were individual district and regional champions. Channing Canada, Ron Hill, Kyle Lewis, and Dylan Lorio. Novell Rivera, Gary Spencer, and Taji Sullivan were individual district champions. The girls outdoor track and field team returns a number of individual champions as well. Isabel Bird, Marilyn Strait, Alexandra Johnson, and Yellow Moses were individual district and regional champions in several events. Our boys tennis team finished their season as district champions. Our softball team continued its streak of greatness, claiming another district title. Sally Bougie, Ali Dufresne, All-American cheerleaders, who were also invited to perform at the Citrus Bowl pregame. We wish each of these teams and individual champions the best of luck in their upcoming season as they work hard to defend their titles. Congratulations. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. welcome to tonight's halftime activity. Begin tonight by featuring the Hahnville High School High Steppers dance team. The High Steppers are under the direction of Miss Jennifer Matthews and Miss Andy Corzo. Captain is Mayor Hardy. Co-captain is Isabella Destefano. And Lieutenant is Paige Bartolo. The High Stepper of the Week, Emily Duplay. Tonight, the High Steppers are joined by the J.D. Martin Trojans. The Trojans are led by Miss Elizabeth Diamond and Miss Lauren Gawley. Tonight, both teams are performing to Applause. Weathering the Storm. Tonight's selections include Here Comes the Rain, The Thunder Rolls, The Storm, Flare the Moon, and Fire and Rain. Your Major Aaron Hicks is the band ready to perform.
But they come in for some cleaning, but we got some bones on the other. Yeah, they all 6 of them. Seems like the season.
All the high school.
They got to be trying to kick it down.
Take the field to your performance.
Here comes the rain again, falling on my head like a memory, falling on my head like a new emotion.
So welcome back here to halftime. You get a look at the first half stats there on your screen, which, as you can imagine by the score, has been all Hahnville. I guess, Wade, the most impressive number on there is the fact that Hahnville has held Central Lafourche below 50 yards rushing here in the first half, and they've done a terrific job thus far in containing Deion Jenkins. I've got him unofficially with 11 carries for 42 yards, and that's not been done very often this year or any other time for that matter.
Well, I mean, as advertised, Hahnville comes in only giving up 13 points a game in this tough district. And, they're doing a great job on Jenkins. They're getting a lot of people to the ball real quick. Now, Jenkins is a solid running back, but Hahnville has kind of, shut him down from the standpoint of making the big play. Picking up 3 here, 7 here, 6 here, 5 there. That sort of thing is one thing. Making him earn it. What he's been used to coming in this year, and we even talked to Keith Menard about this before the game, is him ripping off 50-yard pops. So Hahnville, I would believe, all week long said this guy's going to get his yardage. He's going to get his 3, his 5, his 6, his 8, right? But let's don't give up the 50-yarder, the 60-yarder, the 40-yarder, that sort of thing. And they've been successful at that in the first half.
Yeah, I think his longest run of the first half is 9 yards.
Right.
So you're right. That'll do the job.
Make him earn it. Bang him up. Make him earn every little chunk that he gets. Because I'm going to tell you, at the end of the night, that's hard on a running back. He's getting his knees hit, his hips hit, his shoulders hit, and everything else hit. So he's a little bit gimpy a little bit at the end of the night. He might not be carrying that ball as hard at the end of the night. So it remains to be seen what happens. Now, from just watching him, he has the potential to come out in the second half and just start ripping things off. So it's going to be interesting to see the adjustments that both teams make, especially the adjustments that Central Lafourche make against the Hahnville defense.
Now, on the other side of the football, Darrell Evans has 7 carries for 116 yards. He's popped off a couple of big runs. He had that 41-yard touchdown where he dragged half the Central Lafourche defense the final 5 yards into the end zone, and then had that big 40-yard pop up the middle that got him down into the red zone to set up the last score of the half. So I've been impressed with what I've seen from Evans thus far.
Well, he's solid, too. He comes in with 124 carries, 685 yards, 13 TDs. He's solid. Well, what you're getting from him is you got splash plays in the first half. All right, chunk plays, whatever you want to call it. He's popped off those big plays, and he's been impressive doing it.
So as we continue to count down to the start of the second half here, let's take a look at some scores from elsewhere around the New Orleans area. And of course, last night we had on our All-State Sugar Bowl LHSAA Game of the Week, St. Charles Catholic over Franklinton, 35-6. Good performance by Frank Monica's team. Next Friday night, Newman and St. Charles Catholic in Laplace. That is going to be one whale of a football game. Interested to see how that is going to turn out.
That place will be rocking.
Earlier this afternoon, Brother Martin beat Shaw in a Catholic League game 58-21. It was 51-0 at halftime, as it was just all Crusaders. And then, guess you could say they took the foot off the gas a little bit there in the second half, but still an easy victory for Brother Martin. Elsewhere around the area, Slidell leading Ponchatoula at the half, 17-3. Second quarter, St. James over Donaldsonville in a 10-3A matchup, 7-6. Second quarter, Belle Chase leads Lusher 23-0. 6-5A action on the North Shore this evening. Covington leading Hammond 7-0. Second quarter.
Is it raining over there?
That's a good question. It may not have stopped since last week. I don't know. Halftime, Destrehan's homecoming tonight at East St. John's trying to spoil it. The Wildcats, the battle of the Wildcats there. 14-7, the black and gold Wildcats of East St. John at halftime.
Well, the Destrehan Wildcats right now are having some issues. Talking to Steve Robichaux this week, and he's starting a freshman quarterback tonight. He's down with his kicker. He doesn't have a kicker tonight. They had to take their punter and get him to place kick a little bit just to be able to get PATs this week. So he's having some issues with injuries on defense. He's got a couple of defensive linemen that are out. So, things over there in Destrehan Wildcat territory aren't too kosher right now. And East St. John has given them everything that they've got on their homecoming night there at Destrehan.
No, Destrehan sitting there with 2 losses right now is a bit unusual. It's not very often. I mean, Destrehan had that massive regular season winning streak that went on for 3-4 years that
Right.
they had run off 10-0 regular seasons. So.
Well, and as we talked about in the pregame show, how strong this district is, it also has great coaches in it. There's great coaching from top to bottom in this whole district, and there's no better coach and no better staff than the guys over at Destrehan, Steve Roach and his staff. So he's figuring it out, and he'll have them, turned around and in the right direction. And hopefully if he gets some people healed up here pretty soon, he'll have a strong last third of the season as he's in this district play.
Elsewhere, a couple of teams we saw earlier this year. First of all, Country Day leading at West St. John 21-12 second quarter. And then also second quarter, Newman leading Riverside 20-7. Now, here's the significance with Newman. Last night, over in Acadiana, Lafayette Christian defeated Notre Dame on a last-second field goal, 17-14, snapping a long regular season winning streak, in fact, for Notre Dame. Could Newman, with a win tonight, be the new #1 team in Class 2A next week? That's something that is not out of the question. And, of course, like I mentioned, if it happens, they got a huge one next week going on in Lafourche. So that will be something to certainly keep an eye on there. Second quarter score back over in 6-5A. St. Paul's leading North Shore 14-0. Halftime, Mandeville over Fontainebleau 9-7. Back on the South Shore, Catholic League action. Halftime at Yeoman Stadium this evening. John Curtis leads Jesuit 21-7. Halftime at Joe Yenny, Chalmette over EJ 20-13. Second quarter score at Gormley. Rummel with a 14-0 lead over Holy Cross. I am so looking forward to 2 weeks from tonight. You get to watch it from the booth with Ken Berthelot. I'll be sitting down in the production truck watching all the pictures. But Rummel, John Curtis, 2 weeks from tonight at Joe Yenny. And that is clearly going to be a case of the unstoppable force against the immovable object. Curtis's offense against a Rummel defense that we are now into the 26th quarter of their season, and they have yet to allow a touchdown this year.
I can't wait to see him too. I mean, it's going to be, like you said, one gigantic challenge for both teams.
No doubt. It's going to be a lot of fun, that one. That's 2 weeks from tonight. We'll have it here on Crescent City Sports, also on Cox Sports Television for that one. That should be a lot of fun, no question about it. Just looking around to see if some of the other scores that have gone to half around the state that may be of interest. And looking at some of these early games, De La Salle, forgot to mention, leading West Florida at halftime 14-6. There was actually, I think, some question yesterday as to whether West Florida was going to make the trip over. Of course, this subtropical system, or whatever it is you want to call it, that has formed in the Gulf of Mexico, kind of making its way northeast across the Gulf. Didn't know what the effects were going to be here. All indications are everything was going in towards Florida. And then, the question is, would West Florida, if that storm was hitting their area, be willing to travel 3 hours here and 3 hours back and have to deal with those conditions? But they are here, and they're trailing this one 14-6.
Well, it's not just the travel, too. It's that they put their school district out. And once they do that, their school district would shut down, and a team would not be allowed to go and compete. Any extra or co-curricular activities would be canceled.
Right, and there was a situation, if you recall, a couple of years ago, Rummel was scheduled to go play at Escambia, and this was when there was a storm about to hit Florida, and I really was going to hit Miami, but the governor of Florida declared all schools in Florida closed.
Right.
And though it was, 800 miles away from where the storm was, they obviously needed the resources, and that went with being able to staff a high school game with
Right.
police and security and emergency medical techs and that sort of thing. So
Right.
they did not play.
It's happened. I'll give you one further. When I was at Brother Martin, we had scheduled to play a team right outside of Destin, Niceville, Florida,
Mm-hmm.
and a little thing called Katrina hit.
Oh.
If everybody remembers that.
Yes,
that
yes,
time.
we do.
So.
So here we go, second half kickoff. They kicked it short. The kickoff came from the 45, as you might have seen there, and kicked it to about the 2. Made him return it, got it out to about the 21-yard line. That was false on the return.
All right, let's see the offensive changes that Central Lafourche is going to make right here to get Jenkins going and maybe to see if he can get some of those splash or chunk runs that he's been noted to have so far this season. And then will Hahnville make any changes to shut him down? Any, they've done a pretty good job of it so far in the first half, so I don't really see by their alignment any alignment changes so far out of the guys in purple.
So from the 21. Give it away to Jenkins, and not a lot doing there on first down. Might have gotten about a yard and a half.
Hahnville, and we saw this in the first half, they've gone back into a cover 4 look where they can get their 2 safeties down in the box real quick, which will give them 9 guys into the box at the point of attack against a run. They're just not honoring the passing game of Central Lafourche, and this is where we saw Central Lafourche in the first half do a little bit of throwing on first down. I think they need to come back and try to do that this third quarter, especially on this series.
They're going to reset the play clock.
Something new this year in high school football. We talked about it at the beginning of the year. It's a 40-second play clock, just like you'll see on college and in the pros. And the only time you'll see it at 25 is when there's some sort of administration issue where they'll put it at 25 seconds.
Well, now it ended up at 0, so I don't know if there's some issues going on here. Well, but now we got it back to 25. Might be a situation where back judge may have to run this by hand. Let's see what happens.
That's what would happen. That would be the way it would take place.
No, it will run now.
All right, there we go. It's working.
Give it away to Jenkins, and one of his better runs of the night right there. Out near the first down marker. Let's see if they will move the chains. Here's they will.
Very nice burst off tackle right there. He bounces it to the outside. Great blocking up front by Central Lafourche's offensive line. You saw the explosion he had when he was out in the open. It's like he shifted into another gear. That's what they're waiting to see from him tonight. That's that gear that he can turn on when he's just going to run away from people. He has that gear. We just haven't seen it yet tonight. We saw a little taste of it right there.
Play action on first down. This little curl route there, and caught. Did the ball come out at the end of the play? No. Down at about the 43-yard line. It should be a first down.
Great pass right
It's
there
like
by
a
Duncan.
convergence of officials there.
Duncan put that ball on the money on the curl route right there. They should give him the forward progress and allow him to get the first down.
He stripped it. He stripped it. He must have got it out of bounds. Hey, they discussed it.
They're putting the ball right at the 42. Now they will move the chains. So 2 first downs to start the second half. It's a big drive for Central Lafourche. You look at that score, 21-8. They really need to make this a one-score game.
Well, I've always said it, the most probably the most vital part of any football game is what happens in the first 3 minutes of the second half.
There's Jenkins with a bit of a seam, but it closes up quickly, but not before he gains 9.
Again, you saw a burst right there. You saw another gear. One person right there to beat before he's running past a free safety and on into the end zone.
This is not the kind of game Central Lafourche is used to playing. They're 5 wins this year. They've scored over 40 points in every game. So being held to 8 in the first half is not something they're accustomed to. You mentioned just how stout this Hahnville defense is. They got a couple of shutouts on the year.
Yeah, they're only giving up 13 coming in. I mean, the average giving up 13 points a game.
Little cross action in the backfield there, and not much doing once they do give it away to Deion Jenkins. It's like no gain on the play.
Nowhere to go right there. The defensive line of Hahnville shut that down. Little confusion in the Hahnville secondary with the cross motion or across the formation motion by Central Lafourche. They were kind of running around trying to re-invert their safeties to try to get lined up, and I think they made a mistake because midway through their shift they stopped and looked at each other, and then the ball was snapped. So it'll be interesting to see if they've got that fixed and see if Central Lafourche comes back with that cross motion again.
Quarterback will keep, and he's got to run down the middle of the 30, 20, 15, 10, 5 touchdown.
They did come back with a cross motion again to get everybody looking at the cross motion right there, and then there was the fake in the backfield, and you saw the wheels of Duncan right there just pop out and explode into the secondary and run past everybody. Watch his wheels right here. Look at his speed. One-on-one with the safety now. You'll see him coming into the picture. Nice little jig move right there, and juked him right on into the end zone. Here comes our swing and gate again. Let's see if Hahnville made any adjustment. If you remember back in the first half, the center snuck out for a 2-point conversion. Nobody covered him.
They're going to snap it again. This time the quarterback is going to run it in for 2 points.
My, oh my. So now they cover the center. They covered the wide out. Everybody was covered on the line of scrimmage up there.
Nobody covered the whole.
Right. Nobody's sitting there waiting for the person that the ball was snapped to, which in this case was Ashtarian Duncan.
And suddenly it's 21-16 with 8:35 remaining in the third quarter. Gives us a chance to remind you that Crescent City Sports Prep Football is brought to you by Lamarck Ford in Kenner. Now with an all-new 12-bay quick lane servicing all makes and models for brakes, tires, oil changes, and more. Come see our remarkable deals and service. Stop by or go to lamarck.com.
What an answer by Central Lafourche.
Had to have it.
Had to have it. What a great answer. Couple of different things we saw at Central Lafourche right there. They were using a little bit more cross motion to get Hahnville to look at that cross motion, and we saw it actually execute with the long run right there by Ashtarian Duncan.
There's a timeout, but the wind actually blew the football off the tee, so they'll have to re-tee it at the 40-yard line. So far from Central Lafourche, we've seen a couple of pooch kicks. One went out of bounds. One took a very athletic play to cover. This is going to be fielded at the 28-yard line. Was a little bit deeper. Going to be run out past the 40. Still going. Midfield, 40. And that is the way to answer the short kickoff right there, as that looked to be.
Well, you got to cover it.
Yeah, it looked to be Kendrick on the return.
I mean, you got to cover it. You're going to kick the ball pooch. You're going to kick it. It's not really a high kick. It was kind of a low-line drive, short kick, which means the ball's going to get into the returner's hands a lot quicker, so you better get down the field, and you better be in some sort of lanes. And Central Lafourche was not right there, and the result is great field position for Hahnville.
No. Second straight possession now. Hahnville has started on the plus side of the 50. And that is incomplete.
One of the first RPOs I've seen tonight out of either team. Right there, they run the RPO. Drew Knockhand elects to pull the ball out of the running back's belly and sprint out to his right, and he was looking for the inside second receiver on a little slant route. Just didn't really make a good throw. RPO, run pass option. In many instances, when you look at it, you have the option to give the ball, you have the option to run the ball, or the option to pass the ball. It just depends on how you're setting it up and what it is you're trying to achieve with the RPO. Terminology. This is what we hear on Friday nights and we hear on Saturdays as well as on Sundays.
Second down. They haven't changed the down marker yet. It still says first down. Let's see if they get to it now. Now they fixed it. Give it away this time to Evans, and they've got him bottled up for about 3 yards on the play.
Nice job right there by Central Lafourche defense. They rally hard to the ball right there. Those linebackers really active. Get right there, get to the point of attack, and make a nice tackle on Evans.
3rd and 7 at the 37. Too early to say biggest play of the ball game right here. If Central Lafourche can get a stop and a 3 and out, get the ball back.
The game is like a lot of little different things on the plate. You know, it just depends what's window dressing and what's actual meat.
Knockham will throw, and that is caught for a first down. Needed that in a big way. That was Corey Lorio, 5'8", 151-pound junior wide receiver.
Corey Lorio runs a great out route right there as they sprint out to the left, and Knockham puts it right on the money to pick up the first down.
Needed 7, he got 8. New set of downs from the 29-yard line of Central Lafourche. Well defended there on first down, and quite the tackle there by Sylvester Coleman, the 220-pound junior defensive lineman. Came in with 3 tackles for loss on the year. This will officially go as no gain.
Well, he gets the start tonight. He gets the call tonight because he's replacing Trevor Alleman, number 14, which has been playing great all year, and he's out with a thigh bruise, we found out prior to the game. And Sylvester Coleman comes up with a big play right there and gets the hit in the backfield for the loss.
This time they'll give it away to LaBranche. He's a great compliment to Evans. And now we got some extracurriculars going on at about the 20-yard line, and now some flags come in. Now we got hats coming in. Coaches will go intervene and try to get players back to the sideline. Not sure what all started that right there.
Well, I think it was number 79, big offensive lineman Reggie Pierre for Hahnville was just decimating a Central Lafourche defensive lineman down the field, blocking. Kind of looked like the blind side in the movie. And the Central Lafourche defensive lineman, who I didn't catch his number, decided to retaliate. He's over on the boundary right now, kind of getting chewed. I think that was number 19, Truvon Price. They get tied up, flags go up, and hats go up. So we're probably going to look at possibly offsetting here, I would venture to say.
No. They're going to discuss it, and we'll find out here in just a moment. And that's all we're going to get is one way, just a dead ball personal foul against Central Lafourche.
The dead ball personal foul was on number 19, Truvon Price. He was the one retaliating against getting blocked by Reggie Pierre.
So put the football at the 12-yard line.
But let's get back to the play. The play was counter Trey. It was very well executed by Hahnville. The fight took over what was really brilliantly set up, the counter Trey by Hahnville, and Darrell Evans popping that ball for a nice pickup. It's funny how people's eyes shift, you know, they're real quickly to the harassment that's going on between two guys throwing hands down on the field.
Say both backs in the game this time. They will give it away to LaBranche, and Bo Gerard just got a handful of jersey and dragged him down in the backfield for a loss. Came in with 3 tackles for loss on the year. Give him 4 after that.
Well, just grabbed all Jersey and just kind of washer machined them, slung them around, and threw them down. Question is, this is 2 or 3 times they're in the backfield now. How is Hahnville going to, answer to that? One of the things they've got to do is on their counter game is they got to make sure that they're blocking the back gaps. It's called a gap play. Gap, kick out and seal, wrap somebody up inside. They're not blocking back on the gaps and doing a good job at it.
Trying to get the edge once again here with LaBranche, and he got maybe a yard or 2 on the play, and this is going to be 3rd and long coming up for the Tigers.
Central Lafourche defense at times tonight has been stingy. And then there's been times where they've been riddled. This is one of the times they're making Hahnville right now earn everything. You just can't give up the cheap pickup on the personal foul like they did 2 plays ago.
Let's give him a gate of 4 on the play. It's going to be 3rd down and 9. Back to pass. Corner of the end zone, overshot his intended receiver. I believe that was Kendrick that time.
Defending out there was Jamius Duncan, and he was beat. A little bit of air under that ball. You throw it at the pylon, would have been 6 points for Hahnville. But there was a little bit too much rifle and a little too much zip on that ball from Nakian.
Going to keep the offense on the field on 4th and 9.
This is interesting.
Nakian looking to run. Can they stop him? He is brought down, but I think he might have gotten a 1st down. Let's see the spot. The spot is going to be everything here. And it looks like a Central Lafourche defender. Maybe at the end of the play.
They gave him a bad spot.
Looks like they put it down at the 3-yard line. It's hard to see from our angle. We're over a little bit on the opposite side of the field here. It's going to see exactly where the chains were positioned.
It's going to be very close. That's number 15, Jamarius Duncan. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I think his first name Jamias.
Maybe Jamias.
Jamias Duncan. That's the cornerback for Central Lafourche that's down on the play. They're going to bring out the chains to measure, which rightfully so, because call it somewhere around the 3.
Well, are we going to?
Here's a good look at the replay right here. Watch Nakian get out of there. Here comes the corner, Jamias, coming up right there to make the tackle. Jamias Duncan kind of had his head down. I hope everything's going to be all right with the head and the shoulder. He's getting up.
He's up. That's a good sign, and walking off on his own.
That's a good sign.
Now you got a key measurement coming up here. They waited until the player was off the field before bringing the chains all the way across. Huge moment in this football game right here. Let's see.
Here's a stretch
it out.
And it's
short. By about a foot.
I would say less. That was extremely close. 6 inches maybe.
And a huge stop for this Central Lafourche defense coming up with the stop on 4th and 9.
A lot of momentum right here.
And they will take over at the 3-yard line with 5:29 remaining in the 3rd quarter. So we saw mostly a steady diet of Jenkins until on that 3rd and 1 play. We saw Duncan put it down and go with it and go untouched 49 yards for a touchdown. Give it away to Jenkins on 1st down, and he might have gotten it out to about the 5.
Breathing room right there, running hard on the sweep off the left side of the Central Lafourche offensive line, falling forward and, like you said, picking up about 5.
And you hear coaches talk about when you get backed up in the shadow of your goal post, you really want to try to get, first you want to get away from the shadows, but secondly, it's that coming out offense. You want to be able to get a couple of first downs and kind of normalize field position a little bit. You don't want to go 3 and out and give the ball up back in their other end of the field. There's an incomplete pass. We had a flag come in from this side. Let's see what the call is. Well, it's a sideline warning.
It's going to be a sideline warning on Hahnville. Well, you're right. The coming out offense is big. It's something you've got to practice. It's zones of the field that you practice. And every coordinator has the things that they like to do in certain zones, right? And coming out, you're going to have all of those safe things that you have to do. But the thing I like coming out is sometimes taking that shot if you can get the right matchup between your receiver or defensive back. This is a huge play right here because otherwise you're punting out of the back of your end zone, and we've already seen tonight some mishaps on the punting games for both teams.
On third down, we'll throw it incomplete. It was intended for false, but over his head. And now Hahnville defense steps up, gets that 3 and out. And they're going to get the football back with really good field position.
Here's a replay. They're trying to run a hitch route right here, and the ball's just not really thrown too well by Duncan.
I think he kind of threw that off of his back foot right there instead of stepping into it.
Yeah, it looked like it was back foot, and it looked like it was a three-quarter sidearm back foot breaking ball, commonly known as a slider.
So Gage Detillier is on to punt here.
They better cover this punt right here because these two cats can catch the ball and go.
Get it away. Line drive kick. Will take a hop. It's picked up on a hop, bobbled, came right back up to Hamilton. He's coming back this way, and he will go out of bounds at the 1 yard line. And here comes another flag in.
I hate to say this might be a personal foul on Hahnville. Dead ball. I told you those two cats could go. You better cover it.
They nearly popped one, if you remember, back in the first half, and it was called back by a penalty.
Well,
they got it inside the 5, and it was, I believe it was Hamilton on that.
I think this is coming back.
Well, if it's now the question is it dead ball or is it a spot foul?
It might be. It's a personal foul, spot foul.
It's a dead ball, personal foul.
Dead ball, personal foul.
But now I'm confused here, Wade. If it's a dead ball foul after the play is over, why is it being penalized from? Or do we have 2 penalties coming up here? I see the official walking way back. 2 personal fouls, and this is going to put the football back on the Hahnville side of the 50 at the 48-yard line.
1 dead ball, 1 live ball. And
so the live ball penalty was enforced first.
Correct.
And then the dead ball penalty comes after that. So that's
correct. And that wipes out another punt return by Hahnville. We had a block in the back on the first one in the first quarter, and now you have the personal fouls in the third quarter.
So Hahnville
Central
nearly had the ball at the 1 yard line and going in to score for a 2-score game.
Right.
Now after that, this is basically a 51-yard penalty, if you will, because they're starting at their own 48, similar to what we saw earlier. Running out of bounds, and there's a late flag. So things are starting to get a little chippy.
Things are very chippy. Things are very chippy, Lenny, and I don't like that right there because what's happening is now the sidelines are starting to get a little chippy. And when it gets chippy on the sidelines, that means it's hard to control players.
To finish the thought about what we saw in the way of the penalties, Sean Payton likes to talk about hidden yardage in the special teams, and basically says you can get 100 yards in the special teams somewhere, that's like another touchdown. Whether it's off a return, whatever it is, you're flipping the field, whatever the case may be, you're getting that. Well, so far tonight, we've seen Hahnville have 2 punt returns inside the 5, and because of penalties, both possessions started on their own side of the 50.
Well, you've also that comes to and both these personal fouls, Lenny, they're not involved in the play.
Right.
They're not around the play. They're players hooking up and they can't walk away. They're players throwing hands, they can't walk away. That's where coaches will, tomorrow morning, there will be some chewing going on about self-discipline. There might be a few gassers being run. There's going to be something that's going to be instituted by both of these coaches because, as you're saying, look at those hidden yards they just lost.
Caught and quickly brought down is Corey Lorio.
And, you understand sometimes a personal foul, a hit out of bounds kind of late. Somebody not holding up, somebody taking an extra step. Coaches can get that. What coaches have a hard time gripping and putting their hands around is when a play has just happened 25 yards away from it, you can't go get back in the huddle or go celebrate with your teammate. You're over there throwing hands with the opponent and getting personal.
Wow, what a run. And into the end zone, touchdown, Darrell Evans. He was stopped behind the line, Wade, on a big 3rd and 4, and just broke away from a couple of Central Lafourche defenders and outran the rest of the defense for a 30-yard touchdown.
They run counter right there, and he is banged up right there at the line of scrimmage. Look at how he keeps his balances. About 6 to 7 tackles right there he breaks, and you saw his balance. He keeps his legs going, and I like how right there he finishes the run. Do you see how he lowers his shoulders and knocks over a Central Lafourche defender right there to finish off the run to get into the end zone? That's the mark of a fine running back, the way he finishes runs. He has a tremendous sense of balance. We've seen this earlier in the first half, getting spun around, keeping his balance, finding his way back north and south, and finishing off runs with positive effects.
Now over 150 yards rushing on the night for Evans. 11 carries for 151 yards. A couple of touchdown runs, one from 41, one from 30. And just like that, it's a 2-score game once again, 28-16, with 2:54 remaining here in the third quarter.
Just when Central Lafourche has this opportunity, all right, they get some momentum going, then all of a sudden a chunk play or something is taken off big by the Hahnville offense.
Kickoff will be short. It'll be fielded by Jenkins at the 16-yard line. Makes one man miss, still on his feet, out past the 40-yard line to about the 42.
Great return right there. Made one man miss who almost had him high up around his neck. He ran through that tackle and then took off with a burst of speed to set up great field position for the Trojans.
And now if you're Central Lafourche, you've got to answer right here.
Yeah, well, it's at the point in time they have to answer. As we're winding down 2:46 into the bottom of the third quarter here, they have to answer right here because when they do get into the fourth quarter, then you're getting a lot of, you don't have many more possessions left. You're in a 2-score game already.
Quarterback's going to keep it again on first down around right end. He'll step out right at the midfield stripe, a gain of 8. So that's kind of become your counter, if you will, to the Deion Jenkins running game is suddenly letting Duncan run the football.
Well, Duncan is the next running back in the backfield. He's the second running back in the backfield, and that's how they're using him with the misdirections, the counter plays, the motions. When they're not handing the ball off to Jenkins, then 2 is the major threat. Coming in, he's not a threat throwing the football. That's the reason why Hahnville is playing the coverage that they're playing, cover 4, to get the 2 extra safeties down in the box as fast as they can to stop the run game. Give them 9 people in the box.
On 2nd and 2, Jenkins will get officially a yard. It's going to be 3rd down and less than 1 coming up here.
Big 3rd down right here for Central Lafourche.
Jenkins now 17 carries for 65 yards. This is a terrific job by this Hahnville defense as we sit here with 2 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. Jenkins looking for a place to run. Finally finds one, bounces outside, and that's his best run of the night. I love the patience there, Wade. He had nowhere to go and just waited for that to develop. But hold everything. We have a flag back behind the play?
No, I think we had Jenkins slow getting up off the ground.
Okay. And look, Jenkins doesn't come out very often, but he's going to right now.
He's a little slow getting up after that, but you're right. He set everything up. Did you see? You're right. He set everything up, let everything develop in front of him, and then he exploded, and you really saw his burst of speed right there for a huge chunk play. Those are the chunk plays, Lenny, that he is used to having coming into tonight.
Now we see the backup running back, Joseph Hester Jr. He will get it on 1st down and get about 4. Hester, 5'8", 170 pounds, a junior. Maybe it's his game next year once Jenkins is graduated.
You know, I would venture to say I see Jenkins playing somewhere on a Saturday afternoon, maybe possibly right up the road.
He'll have a chance to play somewhere next year. There's no question about it. You don't rush for the yards, just like the young man we saw last week at Pearl River. You don't rush for those kind of yards. As Jenkins back in there, makes some defenders miss in the backfield and turns which should have been a 1 or 2 yard gain into a 12-yard gain. And maybe this is a little bit of what Keith Menard was telling us about, Wade, that he gets better as it goes along. You start wearing down that defense a little bit. Now he's up to 91 yards on the ground.
Well, we talked about one of the philosophies that Hahnville had coming in tonight was to make him earn every little piece of yardage that he was going to get. Just can't give him the chunk plays. Well, what we're seeing here in the second half, we're starting to see the chunk plays come. And as Keith Menard said to us before the game, he said he does get better as the night moves on.
Yeah. He's had 9, 9, 14, and 12-yard runs here in this 3rd quarter.
Again, his vision right there. The ball was meant to be run outside with the blocking scheme that they were using. What does he do? He sees something back inside in the A-gap. He makes 1 foot plant, cuts back inside, and has a nice pickup as we're heading into the 4th quarter.
12 minutes left to go here in this District 7 5A showdown. Central Lafourche on the move, but Hahnville leading it 28-16. Back with the 4th quarter. You're watching high school football from Crescent City Sports. Fourth quarter, 2nd down and 6, ball at the 15-yard line. Central Lafourche in the red zone, needing to capitalize in a big way right here.
Hahnville is going to man coverage.
Trying to be able to bring some more defenders in the box perhaps, and it worked right there, as they are able to stop Jenkins for no gain. It's 3rd and 6.
There was DeJohn Parker right there from his defensive line position making that play. I think Jenkins right there tried to make too many moves. He makes one. He needs to make one cut and get vertical, make another cut later when he gets to the second level if he has to. Right there, he was dancing a little bit in the backfield, and he kind of slowed everything down, and DeJohn Parker rang him up right there in the backfield.
So 3rd and 6 in a 12-point game. This has got to be 4-down territory. So basically everything's open in the playbook right here. They'll go play action. Quarterback with nowhere to go. Now Duncan scrambles. He'll try to get outside, and he is right at the first down marker. They're going to mark him a yard short. It's going to be 4th and 1.
Nice play by Logan Brimmer right there with a nice angle on Duncan, because Duncan, he could have easily gotten that edge and gotten into the end zone. Brimmer does a nice job with his pursuit angle to throw him out of bounds.
He was stopped in the back. It looked like he was ready to be sacked in the backfield for a loss. Got out of there, got to the edge.
Well, he's a pretty athletic kid. He can move around pretty good. 6'2", 175-pound athlete. You can tell what Keith Bernard did. He took one of his best athletes and put him at quarterback.
And we're going to get a timeout coming here from Central Lafourche to talk about this very big 4th and 1 play from the 10-yard line. We'll talk about it with them, but first we'll remind you that Crescent City Sports Prep Football brought to you by Gills Bar. For more than half a century, offering services, solutions, and support for businesses and associations looking for happier constituents and healthier bottom lines. Hey, and they're headquartered on the North Shore. To learn more on how Gills Bar can help your business, visit gillsbar.com. All right, so earlier on a 3rd and 1 situation, Wade, we saw the fake to Deion Jenkins, and Duncan kept it and went 49 yards for a touchdown.
Right.
So you got to have both of those thoughts in the back of your mind if you're Nick Salter-Formaggio, that the quarterback can keep it here, or they're going to hand it off to their bell cow, Deion Jenkins.
Well, look for man coverage out of Hahnville. That's going to allow them to put more people in the box. Whoever is responsible for the quarterback running off of the zone reads better make sure that they're responsible they sit there and wait for the quarterback. That's what he probably told them.
Yeah, Brennan Como, the backup tight end, we've seen this a couple of times tonight, comes in as an extra blocker and a huge hole for Jenkins. Out to the 5-yard line, 1st down.
Downhill from the I formation. Great block at the point of attack by the fullback. You'll see a good look at it with a nice hole running right into the B gap here. Look at the block at the point of attack right there. Great eyes by Jenkins. He gets downhill, picks up a huge 1st down for the Central Lafourche Trojans.
Right at 100 yards rushing now on 22 carries. A very hard-earned 100 yards for Deion Jenkins. 1st and goal at the 5. They'll stick with that same jumbo formation, and Jenkins might have gotten it back to the line of scrimmage. Yeah, they'll put it right there, back at the 5. No gain.
Great penetration up front by the Hahnville defense. They got in every gap right there. They shot the gap in their goal line front. Got penetration in the backfield. They got somebody coming off the edge also to trip up the running back, Jenkins. No place for Jenkins to go there.
2nd down and goal, ball at the 5-yard line as the clock ticks towards the 9-minute mark here in the 4th quarter. Tight end coming in motion. Quarterback's going to roll out, and pass is caught, but I think it's short of the end zone. It is.
Very short, just right on the 6-inch marker right there. I like the play. I like the call. It's a little bootleg.
Yeah, that was Brennan Como, I believe, 86, the backup tight end we mentioned. They got it right down at the 1-yard line.
A little bit better pass. If they would have gotten the ball to him a little bit sooner, I think he walks into the end zone. I think Duncan holds on to the ball a little too long right there. He needed to get rid of it a little bit faster, and that brings up a 3rd down and half yard.
12th play of the drive that began back at their own 42-yard line. Give it away, Jenkins. Into the end zone. Yes, touchdown, says the far side official coming in.
2 tight ends, 2 backs, power football right there on the half-inch mark. They powered in for 6. Here's another look at it again. Jenkins lowers his shoulders and gets into a crease and gets into the end zone.
So once again, Central Lafourche will line up in the swinging gate. We've seen the snapper catch one. We've seen the holder run with one. Hahnville is running personnel in and out right now. Do we get a timeout?
Well, I think we've got a timeout by Central Lafourche.
I didn't see a timeout signal. Was there a penalty of some kind? No.
No.
Oh, maybe it was a sideline warning.
There we go.
Now they're going to line up just in a conventional 2-point formation here. No swinging gate. They've just kept the offense on the field. And this is something, again, Keith Menard likes to do this. He likes to go for 2. Thinks he's got plays that he can generate an advantage with in these situations. This is Duncan sprinting out, throwing, and caught for the 2-point conversion.
Wide open, man coverage. If you notice,
that was false, yes.
If you notice the yo-yo motion was the flanker on the left side of the formation, going back, going forward, going back, going forward. Here he is one way, coming back the other. What's he trying to do there besides get everybody dizzy? No, he's trying to get the man coverage out of position and to watch and to cover him, which will leave a receiver open, which was Jansen Fultz, right in the middle of the end zone, around the R of the Tigers, wide open, 2 points. Central Lafourche. All of that motion is window dressing to try to achieve and get somebody to be distracted with their eyes. Especially if you're in man coverage like Hahnville was on that particular 2-point play.
So a 28-24 game after a 12-play, 58-yard drive that took 5:48 off the clock. Exactly 2:54 of the third quarter and 2:54 of the fourth quarter on that drive.
How good are the running backs we're seeing tonight? These 2 guys are outstanding.
And don't forget about the third wheel, if you will, Trey LaBranch, the backup, if you will, for
let's don't leave him out. Let's don't leave him out.
He's been outstanding.
Yeah, absolutely.
And look, Duncan, the quarterback for Central Lafourche, has shown us just how well he can run the football.
Which is the Trojans' second running back.
Yeah. Another pooch kick. This time a fair catch is called.
A lot better executed by Central Lafourche.
Yeah, Colin Zarang, the junior tight end, went back and fielded that one at the 30-yard line. So Hahnville will take over with 9:06 to play. And in a one-score game with 9 minutes left, I think it's a couple of things here, Wade, if you're Nick Salter-Formaggio. One, you got to do what you do best right here, which I think is run the football. And secondly, in a perfect world, you want to be able to take some time off the clock.
Right. That's the reason why Darrell Evans is going to be called up on right here, also with LaBranch.
Well, they're going to run a little option action, and that is LaBranch getting to the edge and getting the first down. So something we haven't seen yet, but
2 backs in the backfield.
We've seen that a couple of times tonight, but not that option look by any means.
It's the first time we've seen any type of option out of Drew Knockham. Central Lafourche needs to dig deep right here. At this point in time, this drive is the one that they need to dig deep on, which can change their season.
And we got flags down as LaBranch tried to get to the edge, and that was certainly in the area of holding.
We've got a hold on Hahnville. For our viewers out there, remember that it's a spot penalty. It's going to come from where the flag is thrown.
It's like they mark it from the 40 instead of the We'll check at the 41. This will be actually an 11-yard penalty. So first down and 21 now. The ball at the 31-yard line. Wiped out a nice gain that time from LaBranche.
Another bad high school rule, if I should say so myself.
The thing,
I'm sorry.
the thing, and you and I have had this conversation before, is that high school rules are for the ease of enforcement. Because you're dealing a lot of times with smaller crews. As LaBranche runs and doesn't get much, might have gotten a yard out of that, and it's going to be second down and long still. Isn't it not easier to enforce from the line of scrimmage than it would be where the spot of the foul was? It just
the Federation rules have been around for a long time, and if you catch what I'm saying,
yes,
and they're just hard to change. And there's the old guard that doesn't like to change rules. That spot penalty like that was the same way at one time in pros as well as college.
There's a little RPO action for you there. Was the quarterback had the option to run there.
Correct. RPO right there. They faked the inside run. Nakhan gets out on the edge. He has the option to run or pass the ball. He passed it out to the wide receiver out here. And
that was Lorio on the catch. So now this has suddenly become third and a little more manageable. Third down and 7, ball at the 45. The line to make is the Central Lafourche 48-yard line, and a big play in this football game coming up with the clock ticking down towards 7 minutes remaining. Nakhan will put it down and go. Can he get to the sticks? Yes, and then some. Past the 40, out of bounds. Let's see where they spot it at the 36-yard line, a gain of 19 on 3rd and 7.
There was a great block thrown out there right at about the 47-yard line that took out 2 Central Lafourche Trojans.
And they were both slow to get up. One guy is up, one guy is still down.
To spring Nakhan for the extra yardage. It was a great block. I didn't get the number of the Hahnville Tiger that made that block. Let's see if we can get it on our replay right there. Oh, that was a very nice block. Very close to being a block against the flow, which is a Federation rule, and you're seeing that also in high school and college. You can't block back as the flow is going one way. That was very, very close on that play. Officials felt that I guess it was a legal block, no flag on the play, but that was the block that sprung Nakhan for extra yardage. Huge pickup.
Yeah, they move it up to the 34-yard line. It's a gain of 21 on 3rd and 7 on a big play by Nakhan.
Big play. Little things on the field, making good blocks. You never know how they turn out to be. Maybe the major block in the game that's on a big play is going to turn the tide for your team.
Well, play action. Went to that quick slant and incomplete, 2nd and 10.
Quick slant, possibly off an RPO too. They could have been reading the outside linebacker of Central Lafourche right there, looking for where his alignment was. As the ball was snapped, then they get a post-snap alignment. If he comes in for the run fake, they'll throw the slant behind him. That's a common RPO we're seeing at all levels now.
Right, and we're really seeing a lot of it in Baton Rouge these days.
Oh, it's
a big part of what they're doing right now.
Big.
Give it away on 2nd and 10, and Evans still on his feet. 15, 10, 5, just short of the goal line. He's down at the 1.
Evans again gets knocked around, keeps his balance, and then gets a huge splash play right there all the way down inside the 1-yard line to set up another score for Hahnville. Got a Central Lafourche Trojan on the ground. That is a result of Evans either running him over or faking him out to the point where he might have pulled something.
And that was Bo Gerard, the weak safety, the senior.
Again, this is spectacular what we're seeing out of these running backs tonight. All of them, even the quarterback, who I consider a running back for Central Lafourche, Duncan. These guys can actually go.
We've even seen some nice runs out of Nakhan this evening. Now, unofficially, I have Evans at 12 carries for 184 yards.
Wow.
So maybe he heard a lot about some of these numbers that his opposition was putting up, and
he was going.
He's
gonna
winning
show
that
up.
battle so far this evening. Gerard walks off on his own. Hahnville now at the 1-yard line with 4 shots to once again make this a 2-score game. This clock is ticked under 7 minutes to play. Give it away to Evans once again, and he is in for the touchdown. 3rd of the night for Darrell Evans.
Huge night right there. Huge night, like you said, answering what maybe his opponent has done earlier in the year. He's trying to also prove that he's in that number. 3rd touchdown of the night, runs straight ahead behind that huge offensive line from Hahnville and squeaks in for a score to make it 34-24.
Now to make it an 11-point lead. Look, Evans' numbers were good coming in. 900 yards from scrimmage and 16 touchdowns. Nothing to sneeze at. But this has been a big night, especially when his team needed it. So they keep having to match score for score here in the second half. The point after is good. 6:46 is what we have left to play in this one. And Hahnville leads Central Lafourche 35-24. Quickly want to remind you that Crescent City Sports Prep Football brought to you by Gibbs Construction, a leader in the construction industry in Louisiana and the Gulf Coast for more than 35 years, transforming dreams, visions, and plans into reality. Gibbs Construction. Don't forget, more high school football coming your way Thursday night on Crescent City Sports. It's the All-State Sugar Bowl LHSAA Thursday night game of the week. This week, headed to Acadiana as Lafayette High visits a first-year program in Southside. That is Thursday night at 7 on the LHSAA Live app and here at CrescentCitySports.com. Kick on the way. Falls from about the 10-yard line. Out past the 25. He's stacked up, and they'll blow it dead. Sees it about the 30. So that's where Central Lafourche will start things with 6:38 to play.
Well, we're going to see if Central Lafourche can answer here. They pretty much answered all night long. 2 good football teams punching it out on a beautiful night here in Hahnville.
I guess really, if you look back, the key to this game is Hahnville jumped out to the 2-score lead early, and they made Central Lafourche play catch-up the rest of the night. Trojans have never led.
You know, as the possessions are going to get tight here, 6:38 left, this could be, if not the last possession Central Lafourche might have, it could be the second to last one.
Pass down the seam, incomplete, and I tell you what, that was a great opportunity right there. If that pass is thrown a little bit higher in the direction of Aaron DeLon, he may still be running on that seam route.
Aaron DeLon runs a great route. The problem, but just couldn't get the ball there. He splits the 2 safeties that are in cover 4 for Hahnville right down the center. Ball's just not delivered very well. You know, Duncan just isn't the passer. He's a great athlete. He's just having trouble getting the ball to open receivers when he needs to.
Whistles before this one can get underway. I'm waiting on the indication. Nope, they're going to wave off the flag.
Okay. They're having some sort of intense conversation over on the Central Lafourche sideline with the line judge and the coaching staff.
Wade, we have breaking news tonight in Louisiana high school football. Rummel has allowed a touchdown for the first time this year.
Holy smokes. Wow.
14-7 right now, 3rd quarter, about 4 minutes remaining. As Jenkins on the carry will get about 3, and it's 3rd down and 7.
Jenkins right there ran up the back of his offensive lineman. They pulled the right guard to his left, and not really, it's all jammed up right there by the huge defensive line of Hahnville. Nowhere to go. Jenkins runs into the back of number 75, Gavin Adams right there, and was brought down by the Hahnville defensive line.
3rd and 7, they're going to try and run a draw play, and Hahnville was ready for that. Got 3, and obviously I think this is 4-down territory right here, even though you're at your own 36-yard line. A 2-score game with 5.5 minutes to play.
You're going to have to take your 4th down right here and go for it. You have no other choice. This is the ball game right here for Central Lafourche. This is the ball game right here for the Trojans.
Take a look at the far sideline. Play action, quick slant, 1st down. That was the tight end Logan Wilcox. Needed 4, he got 8.
Put on the money right there by Ashtree and Duncan. Great ball on the RPO. Take the ball to Jenkins on the run, pull the ball down. They maneuver the strong safety out of the way. Wilcox runs the slant route right behind him. The ball's delivered. How big was that play to keep this drive alive for the Trojans?
Duncan, trying to keep it alive with his legs, will eventually run out of bounds. Got 2.
Can't take sacks. Got to get rid of the ball quicker. You're burning time when you're running around back there with your legs. Smart move getting out of bounds. Nowhere to go with the ball that time. Great coverage by Hahnville. Had everything covered up. You know, they need chunk plays. Central Lafourche need chunk plays right now. They got to pick up the 8-10 yards every time they do something.
Duncan got his man, 1st down. Tight end Wilcox.
Great scheme. I like this Wilcox kid. He's got nice hands. He's a big body, does a nice job blocking. He's 6'3", 240 pounds.
The only thing you got to wonder about with a guy like Logan Wilcox is with the evolution of offenses, how many schools out there even want a tight end at this point?
Well, it's personnel positions when you get into short yardage situations, teams that use a lot of 12 personnel, 1 running back, 2 tight ends.
Yeah.
And
that is thrown far side, caught by False, and that will get about 6.
And let me kind of expand a little bit more on what you were asking me prior to that play. It's all about personnel. Well, you know, what's the NFL? NFL teams, take the Saints, keep 4 tight ends. They keep a couple tight ends that can stretch things vertically and run those seams, but they also have a couple of those tight ends that they use in blocking situations, short yardage, goal line situations that are blockers for what they're trying to do with their power game, but they can play special teams.
No doubt. Jenkins carries right near the marker. We're going to get a measurement, or they're just going to mark this short 3rd and about a half a yard.
You know, you talk about tight ends like that. You know, Logan Wilcox, 6'3", 240. He can train himself into being a good ball catcher.
Well, sure, and the other thing too is,
right.
You know, but then again, fullbacks go on the same lines as tight ends as well. You're not seeing much of that, but that's.
But what they'll do is they'll use guys like that in a lot of different situations as not only hands in the dirt tight ends, but you'll see them as H-backs in the backfield. You'll see them coming out in the bootleg game in flats and little what they call Y options or Y pops, things of that nature, where they're asking them to catch the ball in short situations and be a physical blocker, not stretch the defensively vertically. Is there a problem here with the spot?
No, I thought they should have probably measured from, as considering game situation right here. You knew it was close to a 1st down, and now it looks like they're going to. I don't know if the Central Lafourche bench
Ask for it?
Just politicked enough for it and got it?
Well, there's a lot of politicking going on when it comes to asking for measurements. You don't know how many times over 34 years I've asked for measurements and I got the answer, you didn't get it, we're not going to measure. Did you see? Have you ever seen me going ballistic?
And it's about a foot short. But again, by getting the measurement,
right,
it stops the clock.
Get your play in.
Yeah, exactly. If
get
you
your
think
personnel.
It's short,
get your personnel on the field. You have your next play dialed up. It's ready to go. What Central Lafourche has got to do now is they've got to be waiting a little bit closer to get to that line of scrimmage. So when that ball is set and that white hat is winding the clock, they're snapping the ball with 4:10 left on the clock.
So why, I'm confused here, is why the ball, if they were measuring from where it was over there, why are they putting the ball down in the center of the field? That's got me baffled. Why they measured where they measured and now are moving the ball to the center of the field.
I don't know. Did I miss that in geometry? Was that something with the Pythagorean theorem?
Maybe so. Maybe so.
I got D's in that class.
Third and a foot here. Knowing you've got really two downs here, is this a potential shot play right here? You need two scores. Or you get the first down.
You get the first down.
Or you take the
RPO.
You do run the RPO. It wasn't really a shot play, but you did get 10 yards out of it on the pass to the tight end Wilcox. I agree. I'm very impressed with what I've seen from Logan Wilcox this evening. I would have to believe that someone out there could use him.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. This guy should be playing on Saturday somewhere, especially in Division 1AA, what is it, FCS, and he could play someplace.
Quarterback looking to escape, gets away, and he will run out of bounds. That's a great job of just using your legs right there.
Well, he really didn't have much time to do anything else.
No.
They were breathing down. They brought blitz. Hahnville brought blitz off the edge right there, really put pressure on him immediately. He had to just escape out of there to his right, and we have seen him and his prowess in running tonight, how quickly he can get away and elude people.
So 2nd down and 1. He came up right at a yard short of the first down. Ball now at the 15-yard line. 3:27 to play. Central Lafourche does have 2 timeouts remaining. Give it away right here, and that run blitz right there was waiting on Deion Jenkins, and a heck of a play to bring down the big ball carrier for no gain, and it's 3rd and 1.
I think that was John Pearsall blitzing from his linebacker positions. Popped right through there. Nobody put a pad on him.
Right. Pearsall leads this Hahnville team in tackles with 58, including 7 for loss. That will officially go as no gain, although it just assumed be a tackle for loss. Give it away on 3rd and 1. What a play right there by Deion Jenkins. Talk about, planting a foot in the ground sometimes. He put a hand on the ground to kind of redirect himself to basically make a 90-degree turn because he was going nowhere on the edge and found a way to get 10 yards out of that.
Well, Pearsall was about to blow that up in the backfield again. He blitzed inside in the A-gaps again. Jenkins eludes him, and as you said, keeps his balance by putting his hand down and gets his shoulder pads going forward and picks up the first down. How athletic was that?
Give it again to Jenkins. Trying to get the edge. He will. Touchdown. Central Lafourche with 2:28 to play. And it's 35-30.
So you're going for 2 here. Making a 3-point game if you should convert.
Yeah, I would assume you would at this point, considering you've gone for 2 all the other times.
We haven't seen a kicker yet.
What's funny is if we do see a kicker, it might be to try, if they get a stop, it might be to try to get a game-tying field goal if you can get the 2.
Yeah.
After you've gone for 2-point conversions, well, some from a swinging gate, some from the conventional formation.
Yeah,
this looks more conventional.
Well, they're going to go for 2. I'm telling you, that's what the card says.
Right, you're down by 5 in the 4th quarter. Yeah. Certainly, you go for 2 to make this a 3-point game right here. See that second tight end lining up as a fullback in the backfield. And this is that play action pass again, and it falls incomplete.
All right, let's get
that was a similar look to what we saw on the last play, on the last 2-point play, but it looks like this time Hahnville was ready for it.
Very well defended that time by Hahnville. Still in man coverage, but somebody did not leave anybody undone. Everybody was covered up. Everybody did not, should I say, bite or start looking at the motion that was moving around in the backfield. Nobody jumped on Jenkins, who had the fake. Everybody stuck with their man. Hahnville covers that up and denies the 2-point conversion. I think we're going to see an onside kick.
Not a pooch kick, but really an onside kick. Hahnville has had some close calls in district play. Beat Terrebonne 34-27, had to rally late to do that. Beat Thibodaux 36-28, had to rally late to do that. And the final score didn't show up, but they scored twice late in both of those games to be able to pull those out. So they're in another tight one here. This one's been different. They've played this one from ahead the entire night. Now they're looking to hold on.
Well, here's our onside kick. Hahnville has their all-state hands team out.
Can he get the hop? Got the hop, and it's in the air, and it is, I believe, recovered by Hahnville based on the reaction of the Central Lafourche bench. That ball, that was well executed right there. Wade on the ground, looked like a ground ball headed into center field, and all of a sudden it took that big hop. It's exactly what you wanted, and Central Lafourche just could not come up with it, and it'll be Hahnville football from the 46-yard line.
As you said, the kick was executed beautifully right there. It was trying to get it up into the air so you can take your leapers and go up there and catch that football. It becomes one-on-one at the highest point between the return guy as well as the coverage guys, and Central Lafourche just could not come down with it.
On first down, that was Evans getting about 4, and Central Lafourche will use their second timeout.
Central Lafourche got to have some negative plays right here in order to get Hahnville to punt the football, and they'll have one last shot. They have one more timeout that they can spend. However, if Hahnville gets that first down, it's going to be all over for Central Lafourche.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a final score. Down 13, Destrehan 13.
East St. John goes to Destrehan tonight and wins 14-13 to spoil homecoming just down the road.
My goodness gracious, I know Destrehan went in tonight without a kicker. I wonder if
that was a missed extra point, perhaps.
That could have been a missed extra point, perhaps, because their kicker was hurt. I mean, don't know the full story, but how tight and how good is this 7-5A?
No doubt. Evans breaks a couple of tackles. First down, Hahnville at the 43-yard line. So you don't use one here because they stop the clock to move the chains.
Correct. They run the ball again on first down. That's when you have to stop the clock. And then should be a kneel out time then for Hahnville.
It's going to take one more first down. And Evans, that will be the final timeout from Central Lafourche with 1:49 to play. Let's see where they put this down. At the 38-yard line, they'll give him 5. So Evans on the night, 15 carries, 171 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
Wow. Great evening. What was more impressive was the way he did it with a few of those chunk runs, the balance he used to pull himself up, out, and into the open and a couple of them for scores.
Yeah, the first touchdown run is as good as you will see.
Absolutely. That's on the highlight film. Da-da-da, da-da-da.
Meanwhile, Deion Jenkins, 30 carries for 126 yards. He is a workhorse.
Yes, he is.
He came in with 142 carries in 6 games, so you knew he was going to get the football. You know, he can get those chunk plays. He averaged 9.3 coming in, fell way short of that here this evening.
But he's the guy, I would venture to say, that kept them when they needed in this football game.
Ball on the ground, picked up by Evans, still on his feet, and he will score.
Holy cow. What a great run after he drops the ball. And if you'll look at the field and the Central Lafourche players that are left laying in his wake as he took that to the house and put an exclamation mark on not only the ball game for the Tigers tonight, but an exclamation mark on his effort tonight.
Over 200 yards now for the night. 209 yards and 4 touchdowns. See if we can get another look at that one, at exactly what happened and how that play unfolded.
Well, it started first with him fumbling the handoff. We'll take a look at it on the replay. Quarterback drops it. That was it. Quarterback dropped the snap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 tackles. He breaks right there on his way to that exclamation mark touchdown.
And going off under his own power is Matthew Loop, the safety. He was one of those guys that stayed down. At one point, I think we saw 4 white jerseyed players laying on the turf. All casualties of trying to tackle Darrell Evans.
Well, they were left in his wake.
Kick is good. It's a 42-30 game with 1:36 to play. Now, I'll understand the end zone's in front of you. You try to score.
Right.
Do you also bring other things back into play here, like you pop a kickoff or something of the like, and
look,
you almost didn't get the onside kick a minute ago.
Look, I've never tried to tell a kid, hey, run out of bounds, fall down, because that isn't what's going through their mind. They're going to score. You teach kids to score, right? So if a kid comes along, or a player for that instance, comes along in that type of situation and has the presence of mind to run out of bounds, to allow you just to kneel out the game, that is, I guess you would say, lanyap.
That's what we call it down here.
That's what you call it. And I've been around it. I've seen it happen. What I always did was I pointed that out to him the next day, the situation. You try to teach the game. So the next day, you're looking at film, you're patting him on the back, and then you say, think about this. Think about the situation. What would have happened had you ran out of bounds at the 1-yard line or kneeled down? They see it. They'll learn the game, and you never know what's going to happen the next time.
On first down, the pass is incomplete by Duncan. We're talking about Wilcox and what he might look like at the next level. He's actually a pretty good baseball player as well. Plays corner infield and also a pitcher. And with that size, could project well on the diamond as well.
Well, he's an athlete. He's a high school athlete, and he plays multiple sports, and that's what you like to see. It's good to see multiple sport players. Kids that play football, baseball, football, track, football, basketball, baseball. That's what high school sports are about.
A shot down the field and catch is made. Talking about Wilcox, and he brings that one in. he's had himself a heck of a night catching the football.
Yes, he has, and as well as blocking, too. He's a fine-looking athlete. He's a fine tight end. That was a nicely thrown ball by Duncan right there on the corner route, or what we commonly call a 7 route.
Go quickly to this side, trying to set up a screen pass, and it is snuffed out by Hahnville. And no timeouts, didn't get the first down, remaining in bounds. They're going to call this no gain. And the clock is under a minute. Duncan going to get to the edge. We'll get there, and we'll run out of bounds at the 46-yard line, gain of 4.
Applying the pressure right there was Adonis Freeland, number 95. I tell you what, we've called his name a couple times tonight.
He did get 1 sack, but,
right.
But the escapability of Duncan has prevented some others.
Correct. He's applied the pressure off of Duncan's left side all night long, just manhandling the left tackle of Central Lafourche.
Big guy, 6'2". Seen him listed at 285. They listed him at 275 on the roster. Pass is caught. Receiver was down there. That is Luke Mincy. And that will be short of the first down. So it's 4th down and 3 at the 49-yard line.
You know, you're talking
the clock continues to tick under 20 seconds. This may be the last play of the game coming up.
Talking about Adonis Freeland, you're going to see him on Saturday somewhere.
Yeah, headed to the University of Houston.
Oh, that's right. That is correct.
And incomplete on 4th and 3, intended for a false, and 6 seconds left, and 1 knee, and this game will be over and belong to the Hahnville Tigers, who will go to 7-0 on the season. And this is a Hahnville team that's obviously a very good schedule and passed every test thus far. They've got H.O. Bourgeois next week. Then they've got Jesuit here in 2 weeks. And then Destrehan at Destrehan week 10. Look, they've faced some tough challenges in this league, but they've got a great chance to be 10-0 going into the playoffs. And as the number 2 seed right now, I don't see anything schedule-wise that's probably going to drag that down too much. They could stay the number 2 seed. Who knows? Catch a break, you might even be the number 1 seed. And that's it.
You're absolutely right talking about those seeds. Now, what's tough is finishing up 9 and 10 with the schedule with Jesuit and Destrehan. The main thing is you want to try to come through that healthy, as you're heading into those playoffs too. So,
no doubt. Final thoughts, Wade, on what we saw this evening. Obviously, a lot of skill talent out there for both offenses, especially running the football. And we saw it on display on both sides.
I'm just really impressed with the 2 running backs from both teams. Not to mention the 2 quarterbacks, the way they ran tonight well, too. Deion Jenkins is the real deal, and so is Darrell Evans, who I think tonight announced to this district that, hey, guys, I'm one of the premier running backs in this district, too. Don't take your eyes off of me.
No question about it. Wade, it's been a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. Enjoyed the night. Beautiful night here in Hahnville for high school football.
No doubt about it. We will have more high school football for you next week. Stay with us at Crescent City Sports. We'll have more coverage of exactly where we will be. But we can tell you on Thursday we will be in Acadiana country, Lafayette at Southside for the All-State Sugar Bowl LHSA Thursday night game of the week. So for Chip and Matt Merritt, for Wade Kaiser, I'm Lenny Van Gilder. Thanks for joining us. Once again, your final score, Hahnville 42, Central Lafourche 30. We'll have lots more coverage coming up at CrescentCitySports.com on this exciting game tonight. And, of course, check out our All-State Sugar Bowl scoreboard. For everyone, we will see you next time. Good night, everybody.